North American stock futures pointing to a slightly lower open coming up once again this morning as we head into a holiday shortened week coming off the negative showing we saw on Friday. If you remember, we had all three U.S. indexes ending the day on Friday. Little changed overall, but slightly to the downside as focus for the market once again shifts back towards the COVID-19 pandemic and the Delta variant and the possible effect on the overall global economic recovery. Over the weekend, we had Goldman Sachs downgrading its economic outlook for the overall economy for the remainder of the year, now saying it's looking for 5.7% growth versus 6.2% consensus for the overall economy. Again, the market coming off a little changed week last week, but overall, keep in mind, September, one of the worst performing months for the overall market. If you go back, we have a video out on why. We had the August non-farm payrolls out on Friday. That was a huge miss. If you remember, 235,000 versus 720,000 expected. Individual movers this morning, we're going to talk a little bit about automakers. At the Munich auto show, they were talking about the chip maker, or the chip shortage, I should say, extending not only into next year, but possibly for another 2 years. So automakers under a little bit of pressure here this morning. And Spotify extending a positive run from last week on another upgrade here this morning. We'll have a look at Spotify shares as well. It's Tuesday, September 9th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. I'll look at nothing. We'll get the board up here in a moment, but trust me when I say we are little change right now for the overall markets. There we go. 0.03 for the S&P, the Dow 0.06, NASDAQ about positive anyways, 0.04 to the upside. TSX futures here in Toronto, 0.5%. Brazil's open, trading higher, up a full percent so far. Yeah, Bitcoin, some of the cryptos as well under pressure to start off the new week, 5.8%. to the downside for Ethereum. If you remember, it was Ethereum that led the rally last week for cryptos. So bit of a pullback here to start things off. Good morning, guys. Tuesday, not Monday, it's Tuesday. Long holiday weekend. Hey, Neil is back from holidays as well. Good to have Neil back in the building. Going to be an interesting week here, guys. We're coming off the summer, obviously getting back into the swing of things. A little bit more volume, a little bit more action so far here in the pre-market.
Absolutely, and spread the word, darling. Omar back. No, I'm not Omar. Rest in peace, Michael K. Williams. I'm a huge Wire fan. You guys know that, so I had to give that shout out. If I drop a few references and some lines from one of the most famous characters on that show, I apologize in advance. It's good to be back. It was good to take a bit of a break. I know Arun kicked butt without looking, and I know you guys absolutely love him. He's still around trading the futures. We'll get his thoughts, but got to find out what is going to be moving. This is what it's all about, especially in the holiday week here, Sean. Like, you know, it's 4 days worth of trade, and we are into September, but you're still light on pre-market volumes. There are names that are going to be all over the place, and we've already seen. I mean, apparently it's like Russian mining companies that are going to be going today.
Duh. Yeah,
should have known. Right?
Yeah, shout out to Valeria and Russian. I mean, obviously, we got the inside tip from Valeria, so yeah, whatever IRNT is, we're going to be trading that one today as well at some point. So, look, big exciting day. We're happy to have everyone back with us. You know, congratulations to anybody that's starting school today with their kids. Here in Toronto and Peel, where Neil is, we don't start till Thursday. So right now the kids just on break a little bit, a couple more days looking for stuff for them to do. But yeah, school's back in. Everyone seems to be happy. The weather's turning. This should be a good one. We're excited for. Yeah, it's a little chilly. I don't know. Let me see what it is right now.
It was 14. When, oh, okay, 14 when I woke up.
15 now. So 15 degrees Celsius. Not bad. Probably going to maybe early 20s, early 21, 22, 23 here. So we'll see what happens today. But hey, it's going to be a big day. We're happy we're back. Everyone's here. It should be a fun one. And a few names on watch. We'll see some of the Chinese names moving around here. So lots to talk about. Let's go, Neil. Yeah, we're both long now one. So Brendan, back to you.
Yeah, Chinese EV makers showing some positivity to start things off this morning. We'll have a look at NIO and XPEV and Li Auto as well. All three mentioned in a couple of analyst notes that I was reading this morning. Boeing, on the other hand, to the downside. We're going to talk about Boeing coming up here as well. A little bit negative in the pre-market. Before we do, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V.
Hi guys, welcome back everyone. Finally, markets are open. I wish you a wonderful day, all the luck, and please make sure to like this video. Let's get it started, Brendan.
Let's indeed, guys, get it started. As I mentioned, we're seeing Boeing under pressure here, guys. There was a Ryanair deal that was squashed, canceled as far as the 737 is concerned. They're also talking about further delays for that 737, pushing it back into next year now as far as their prior guidance when this thing was going to get back into production, which was September or October. So they're now saying next year once again. So a little bit of negativity here for Boeing. If you remember, Friday it was back down to basically the support area on the daily chart, but looks like we are testing that once again, maybe even breaking it a little. 1% or thereabouts here for Boeing to start things off, guys.
Yeah, Boeing's one of the names where the first thing you do, obviously, when you have some time off, is look what the overall market did. I was like, look at the range on the futures doing absolutely nothing for the entire week, and Boeing pretty much exemplified that when I looked at all the different charts, but just can't seem to get out of their own way. You really need a positive headline or a positive catalyst coming from them to get any kind of a move that doesn't take you back down towards this 200. At least that's what it feels like. And then you have everybody sort of, I hate using the term everybody, but you have this sort of, I guess, overwhelming feeling or chatter in the market. Everyone's waiting around for this correction, which, some people said was going to happen late in the summer, and then now it's, some people saying it's going to happen in October. We'll see what happens when it comes to the debt ceiling and whatnot. But Boeing probably feels like with this, if this floor break, which is about 215, 216, that doesn't really hold up today. It's a slow march down to probably a 200 support on Boeing's case. I don't know that there's going to be a trade in Boeing. The volume isn't there. There's enough other things that are certainly moving. If you want something weak, look at Sava, obviously. But Boeing for me is going to be a wait until it tests 200 before thinking about what to do with that in the long term, at least.
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned Boeing a little bit down, almost 1% here today. We'll just have to see what the futures do. I mean, it's the reopening play. We've talked about this over and over again. Still waiting for that. I mean, China's ordered a few planes, but we're waiting for that big order to come through. I just think that until, unfortunately, I think it's going to be a little bit of a rough fall for some of these reopening plays, including CCL, LUV, Boeing added to that as well. I mean, until this Delta, and apparently there's another variant now, gets all sorted out. Like, I'm over all this, but we have to still trade what we see. And unfortunately, Boeing right here, yeah, a break of 210, 212 could be a problem. Let's go over to the imbalance locator quickly just to see if there's anything on there. I mean, that might help us. DD, Pfizer, UMC, it doesn't really appear to be too much on here at all today. Alibaba with a small bid. Pfizer getting some love back to 47, so maybe that should have been on the sticky note as well. But other than that, yeah, not much. Yeah, there's Pfizer. Yeah, nice bottom 46 into that 45 resistance right there, or support, I guess. So that was a really nice one. So Pfizer looks like it could be onto something there as well. But maybe we'll look at Pfizer. Actually, that's an interesting break. 47.20 or so on Pfizer, something to look at here. So I think I'm going to add that to the list.
Yeah, I saw the Chinese stocks, DD, included in that, all very positive this morning. We're going to look at a few coming up here. PDD, JD.com with news this morning as well. So we'll talk about some of those Chinese stocks coming up here. I want to mention Tesla, guys, looking a little bit positive here once again, getting back towards daily highs anyways for Tesla. I just saw a note saying their latest edition of their self-driving software may have leaked. And if I zoom in here a little bit, you can see there was a little bit of a pop when that happened here in the pre-market. Not a heck of a lot of volume, but nice look here to start things off for a new week for Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, 740 was a level before, so I mean, 740 looks pretty good now. I'm happy to see this to come back and sort of look at Tesla right in that range. You're bouncing off that 7, breaking through that 725, and then you're right into what was multi-day resistance before. Look, Tesla bounced off 500 going back into mid-May, and you do have to look back towards this 740 area. It looks like maybe we'll get a consolidation, possible break. Is this the catalyst that does it? Maybe. I mean, there's certainly some I want to say there's chop between 40 and 50, but really it's just a couple of days where you had a rejection here in the daily chart. And then if you do get through that zone, this is the move to 800 that I think everyone's sort of been waiting for. And maybe the market has a little something to do with how slow maybe that break has been for Tesla, because the support was so good in that high 500 range that you really would have thought it would have been a quicker move. But again, the market at the highs is sort of gliding sideways, and some of the other EV names been under pressure. The chip shortages, uncertainty in China. There's been a lot weighing on Tesla. Of course, the self-driving. Self-driving or not self-driving, I guess, has been a bit of an issue for them, or at least a bit of a possible headwind. I just love the fact that we're finally getting above that 740 area for a potential break. I see 739.99 as this actual high. So it does look like the breakout is in play. I mean, the thing about this is, like, it sets up for a bit of a 740. You got to give it like $5 or $6 if you're wrong on the breakout. I just kind of come in here feeling like the volume isn't too high, and I'm already took NIO on a break long at 41. I feel like having that and Tesla wouldn't make a heck of a lot of sense, but if we get a dip into 36, 37, say the NIO fails, Tesla does have its own news here that could be worth the dip by. But taking both of them as a breakout, I don't know that there's a need to have both. I kind of feel like if there's going to be a run in one, there's going to be a run in likely in both of them.
Yeah, the only difference to me is that you have this multi-day break area situation here of like 740, 741, 742-ish here on Tesla. This is a 20-minute chart. So you could just see that, we're bouncing up to these levels the same way that we were supporting 725-ish. It looks like we're bouncing up to 740. So I'm going to take a long, but it has to break through 742 on Tesla. We'll just wait to see what the NASDAQ does. I mean, you can see it starting. It's not doing anything, but hopefully it starts to break upside, and then we can get going, and that should spark. I mean, this is a 1 minute chart, so we have some stickies there, but it looks like we'll get up to 740. I'm going to wait for that 742 on the multi-day, which doesn't look too good on here, but it did on the 20-minute. So it's up here. Forget about those wicks in the pre-market, but 742 is a level that I like here on Tesla. We'll see. I mean, we called 800 about a month or so ago when we were in the low 600s. It held, so I think we're right, and I think it's going to be going to that 800 level, just a matter of where you get in. And remember, we are day trading, so these are not calls for the week or anything like that. We're just talking about simple breaks and trying to catch a couple bucks.
Speaking of breaks and moves in the intraday time frame, let's have a look at crypto markets, guys. A few people discussing cryptos already. We saw that big reaction on Friday, if you remember, after the jobs number in BTC I speak of, to the upside, got it through the recent resistance levels, ran all the way up through 52,800. We've come off significantly over the past 24 hours or so for Bitcoin, but some of these crypto-related stocks, I just brought up Coinbase here, still holding up quite nicely. I mean, not necessarily related. There was news on that BTBT with another mining joint venture that they announced this morning. Some crypto stocks making moves, though, here in the pre-market, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're still not even, like, I have the chart of BTC really up here. Like, we're not really, it was just a big move that sort of started on the 5th once we broke, or I guess we broke 50,000 a while ago, but since we held out this 50,000, and then it looks like as soon as we broke that 51,000, we basically marched to 52, and then we marched to 53, and then now we're coming back into 51 again. So I don't think this is the end of the world for anything. I know Cardano's touched 310, now it's back to 265 or so with Cardano, and Ethereum, as I look as well, 3740. So, I mean, a lot of these stocks are still pretty high, but if you look at a 1 minute chart, you can see that we have fallen down basically $2,000 in about under a day. This is a minute chart. So, you're going to just see a big little move down here. And, to me, it's nothing to worry about. If you're going to keep looking at stocks, I think you got to look at Coinbase, but I wouldn't look at BTC or Ethereum or anything like that and worry where the world's coming to an end here, because thing is, Ethereum was just $1,700 about a month and a half ago. So now it just cracked 4,000 over the weekend, right? So I'm not too worried about any of these names. When you look at Coinbase, so this is still Tesla, that's how the charts roll. But when you look at Coinbase here, you are trying to break out, and I really do think that, hey, look, the more stable some of these coins become, and I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I think that provides some more stability to Coinbase. And it's just, talk about making a base. I think we have one here at 220, 230 on Coinbase. So if you like the crypto names, but you don't want to trade, the physical coins, I think you can get some money in Coinbase. I talked about them having a lot of different businesses, including staking. I think there's going to be the lending game coming soon as well, against some of your crypto holdings, so that's going to happen. And I just look for maybe a dip buy back into 275 or so. We did have some resistance there and breakthroughs on Friday, so 275 and even, let's see how bad this gets. I definitely would not go long right off the top, but down to 270 is pretty sweet, and we know Coinbase can easily travel that $10. So I think down to 270 where we resisted on Friday, that makes a lot of sense to me. So that's sort of what we're looking for with Coinbase. Let's see if we can get a low bid.
Yeah, I love Coinbase as well. I'm with you, Leo Faruqi, in the chat there. It's just profit taking from the El Salvador news. No biggie. I tend to think it makes sense. I got the Silvergate chart just because it's the one I like Silvergate anyways, candidly, obviously. And when you talk about consolidation and breakouts, look at the same pattern here. You're looking at like a 120 to 125 area, trying to break back out. Of course, you had a bit of a double bottom here in the 80 range, and then maybe it's about $50 to that lower high at 175. So I think that's one of those things where you look for that break, but you gotta look at what's going on in spot, right? Like when we got that move back in, it was 47. It was 4,700 on the pullback, and this is like a daily. So again, just pulling it way back here to show you how not as volatile it's kind of been here on Bitcoin. But 47,000, sorry, is where we pulled back into, and then we finally had that breakout. So you consolidated on that 50,000, pulling back and holding that key 47,000 level. You can kind of see how obvious that is looking back here, and then we're just still sitting in the middle of the range. And as long as the pullback holds that, I don't think it's going to be anything crazy in one direction or the other. Now, if you were to break, through like down 47 through 46, maybe you get an actionable pullback where you want to be buying dips in Bitcoin. But otherwise, I think it's sort of all systems the same, which wasn't a heck of a lot of volatility, which in some ways can be a good thing.
Yeah, worth keeping an eye on today. Could be interesting coming off that weekend news. Obviously, El Salvador officially adopting Bitcoin as of today. I was just looking at some of these vaccine makers, guys, specifically Moderna. They were talking about a possible booster shot being ready for Pfizer, specifically in the U.S. as early as September 20th, whereas Moderna, they're going to push back further into the fall. But decent look here for Pfizer. You can see positive on the day, but Moderna, on the other hand, a little bit to the downside. Volatility, obviously, in these names continuing, though, as we learn more about what to expect as far as a possible booster shot goes.
Yeah, when I was sort of going over the charts and looking at what had moves last week, obviously Moderna's week stood out a little bit, right? Like you're going all the way back into that 360, bouncing right into the top, the 450, like same like levels that I was looking at before I left, that 416 top right coming back into play, and you had this rollover and a retest of the high here, and then you have again a push on Friday right into 416, 417. You have a lower high being put in. This is a 15-minute, guys, and then a 415 to 416 top right now I see in the pre-market, not on a ton of volume, and it's attempting to pull a little bit of a rollover in again. Now, what's different about this, at least for now, one's obviously you have that volume, and then you still have potentially something here at 410 and then 405 for support on Moderna. Now, it might be a cheesy way of saying this, but I'm looking at Sava. I have another chart up on Sava, and that feels like the short that I really like today. But it's not a horrible idea that if I get a spike or Moderna gets a spike into that 415, 416 area, trying to take this top, fails at 930, that would be a nice little rollover trade. I don't like to break down. I think I'd be more aggressive in Cassava Sciences if given a shot today at one of the two. And as Sean mentioned it, I kind of left. I was kind of hoping Pfizer would continue going down in some ways to catch a bit of a bid, but that actually sets up pretty well. Like obviously good news for them. That they have the approval already, so the boosters are coming. Moderna, it's going to happen. It's just that delay could add to that resistance that was already there up at 416 anyways.
Yeah, I just draw a line right here. It's about 47.20 or so. You do get a little bit of a break here on Pfizer, so we'll look to see about taking that long. We did get into Tesla right here at 742, so Hopefully my charts will switch up. And then there's the Tesla break. So we'll see if it can continue to go to the upside. It just ran like crazy. So we're not expecting to get in. I don't want to be in this name too early here. It's only 40 minutes until the market opens. So if this, I mean, we could take the top here and then we could take the bottom. It's not a huge trade, but I'm not going to hold this too far, maybe even past 7. Probably even, actually, you know what? Probably even right here, like right where we started this trade at 7.39. So we'll take about a $3 worth of risk here on Tesla early. But we're in this name now, and let's just check the imbalance locator quickly. We did have Pfizer going. Yeah, so still at the top. Not much happening here. Still with Pfizer, DD, Nokia, some of these names. But right now, yeah, so we're in. I mean, Tesla's spread is $1 already. So, I mean, I may just have to get out in this one a little bit early, but we'll wait to see if it does want to run. But 7.39, not a horrible spot to get out. But I'm guessing I probably get wicked out of this one at some point. In this one a little bit too early.
All right, guys. Analyst moves to pass along, the most notable of which is not on here, but we're going to talk about that coming up. As far as upgrades, a few in the energy sector I saw today. Everbridge down here as well. Zoom Info, that's not Zoom Video Communication, that's Zoom Info. TD here as well. Speaking of vaccines, Johnson & Johnson downgrade today. Veritex on here. Amcor as well to the downside.
Everbridge. Enbridge is making a purchase. I saw in the chat some chatter about that.
Are they? Yeah, good.
Not moving. I didn't see it moving too much there. I mean, Johnson & Johnson's going to stand a little bit, but I don't see anything on that board that's too interesting. And a lot of times, upgrades and downgrades are going to be the good catalyst. I'm not really seeing it. Just worth mentioning. You guys are going to see us both in NIO here, Neo, and as Sean rightfully pointed out there on Tesla, the multi-day top. And the only reason why I preferred, because obviously 740 was like the time the pre-market high in Tesla, and the reason why I like Neo better. Because I was already in it, obviously. But you had this multi-day as well at 41, and it also coincides with going back into mid-August. You had this one close, and then it's been a resistance ever since. So looking for Neo to get off the schneid here at 41 on that breakout. It was a multi-day break, much like the Tesla one. It just happened a little bit earlier. The only downside to this Neo move is volume, right? Like I know everything is lower in volume. But Neo, even through that breakout, just didn't really have much of a spike. So that kind of leans against it a bit. I'll probably take some out at the quarters if I get a chance in some of the 50s and then try to hold on to this. Maybe even look to buy dips in front of 40, 50 at the open. Still a half an hour to go, or over a half an hour until the open. So a lot can happen. Just doesn't feel like it will be that rapidly. And yes, that iron, whatever we're calling, IRNT, that Russian mining company, just bounced off of 30. I was thinking about shorting a 30 break on that stock. It was 50 cents a share to short IRNT. I thought better of it. I kind of want to wait for this one to, oops, it's a New York stock. I kind of want to wait for this one to open up before doing anything too crazy. This was a SPAC. It ran apparently, obviously I wasn't here, it ran apparently on Friday afternoon after market about $4 or $5, and now was gapping up and was up 100% pre-market on nothing, essentially. So I am looking to possibly short this one, but obviously with these low floats and recent issues, some craziness can happen, like apparently RNXT did. I'm looking at this one. I would have taken 30 if it were different circumstances. For now, I have to look to see if it can retake maybe like a 35 area here. It's got a 38 top. It should be in play, guys, but that 30 break seemed good. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. IRNT was a late runner there, like Neil said, on Friday, so we're gonna have to watch out for that. And then we are gonna go through our watch list, .tradertv.live. You can find that. I know Valeria's been putting up the sticky note as well, but Cassava Sciences as well, another runner that we'll talk about here, trying to make a little bottom at 45.50. That's what we tweeted out, and that's basically the exact bottom. So let's wait to see what happens on this one. But Cassava Science is on the way back up as well. So even though there's not a hell of a lot happening here in the pre-market, as far as, well, I mean, people talking about any, we'll talk about any as well, coming up through soon. ADAP, yeah, that's on our list as well. I mean, I don't have the watch list, but it's watchlist.tradertv. I don't have it up. .live. You can get all these names with a little bit of a write-up of what's moving these, and sort of Neil and I will talk about where we think they're going from here. So watchlist.tradertv.live, and I know Valeria is putting the links up now, so make sure you click that and sign up for that watch list free every single day.
Into that in a second here, guys. Want to mention some of the payment processors and credit card companies. Remember last week they were under pressure. We talked about them, I believe it was Thursday, if I remember correctly. We had a lot of negativity surrounding Amex, Visa as well, MasterCard were all sharply lower going back to Thursday on huge volume. Higher here this morning for Visa. I just saw this headline. They're planning to allow, it would appear anyways, Bitcoin payment in Brazil. So something to keep an eye on anyways. Visa, a little bit positive here in the pre-market. Speaking of the watch list, guys, let's get into what is moving around in the pre-market. That is the link. Ms. V, as we mentioned, helping you out in the chat if you need that link. All you need is an email address to grab the watch list every single day. Match Group Incorporated, not one we look at terribly often, but obviously strong here. Aftermarket on Friday, it was announced that Match is going to replace Perigo in the S&P 500. So MTCH getting the upgrade into, or the uplisting, I guess, to the S&P 500.
Yeah, and it's up 10% now. It was actually up more than that a little bit earlier in the pre-market, but where it turned, it was not, I guess, not too much of a surprise when you look at the daily chart. I mean, this is like a 168.5 or so, like wick top, and then some of these candles more like a 165, 166, which might be a little bit of resistance. So when you get that move up, it essentially, and again on low volume, obviously. It traded right into that price on the news and then has been sliding off ever since. A good base is being made here at 162 at least. I would love to see this open up, maybe make a retest of that high. But for now, I don't want to say this was an iceberg that was broken because I wasn't looking at it at the time. But I just, like 162 just basically sat on the offer here for the better part of 20-25 minutes before just recently breaking. And again, it's not really doing anything crazy. I think if this had had a bigger sustained volume spike and then broke out through like this level here, like a 163, $1 higher, there might be an actionable trade that I'd want to have on pre-market. But I kind of feel like in these circumstances, less is more in the pre-market. The lower the volume is, the less chance that I want to have multiple positions, especially in $160 stock that you wouldn't normally day trade. It's a strong move for them if it was being received a little bit better, or was giving you that breakout at that day high or that daily chart high. That would look a little bit better to me, but it has not managed to break that resistance. So any long you take, I'd want to be covering it in front of that 168.50. So for now, I'm going to have to sit out Match. I think it's going to be actionable today. I probably prefer not Novavax. I probably prefer Moderna for that rollover into resistance because they have negative news, as opposed to Match off that 168. So I'm going to stay away from this one on the short side. And of course, IRNT, I say don't take the 30 break, and now it's back below that 30 level. Still holding. Pre-market lows were right around here at 29. So that's still for now holding out that pre-market lows, but might be sliding down.
All right, I was just looking at CP24. Someone hits hit a police car, so they're looking for that. Nothing. It's nothing.
Oh, okay.
Looking for that suspect. Okay, Match right now. So yeah, I was looking up some news to see what was going on with this. We talked about it with the S&P 500. Makes a lot of sense. To me, this is one of those plays again where, I hate saying the same thing over and over again, but to be honest with you, it's like this is another reopen play in my opinion. Like, if you can't date, you can't see anybody, and I know that it's a little different here in Canada than it is in the U.S. I'm still a little nervous that we do somehow. I don't want to say this word again, but we may get locked down again at some point. So I'm just wondering if again, it's. Buy the rumor, sell the news. So now we're out. We know that this is being added to the S&P 500. Obviously, there's going to have to be some reweighting of portfolios and things like that, where hedge funds are going to have to step up and buy Match. That's why now this is making that move. We'll find out. I guess the date is going to be on the 17th. I mean, there's an S&P rebalancing on that date, so we'll find out the date that's happening. But whether or not we take out this 174, I would say we do. And then it's off to the races from there. But remember, this is not a change in business. This is not a change in management or anything like that. This is just simply put, an addition to the S&P 500. We've seen Tesla when that happened, how crazy that went. And a lot of stocks happen to have that, pull. So we'll wait to see where Match goes. For me, I think it comes back in to 130, 140. Then you might buy it if you do believe in what they're doing. There's also Bumble, which is out there as well. BMBL, I believe. Anyways, up to $60 now. They had a rough go of it until recently. Where now, look at that, the same. I was going to say, you're getting a bump up in Bumble, which makes sense today. I think anyways, up to 60-40, 60-50. So to me, this chart almost looks a little bit better. You have a 46 bottom. It actually all looks the same. These bottoms, whether or not it's 140 or 40 here, it's a nice move upside. Bumble looks like it's breaking out as well. To me, I think you got to give these a little bit of space. They're really heated up, 46 to 60 in about 2 weeks. So that's a big move for them. And then Match, you've seen the big move as well off that bottom as well. So 130 for Match, and then 45 or so for Bumble. But I like the space. I just think it needs a little bit of room to go.
All right, guys, we'll get a look at the overall market. All right, everyone's missing Arun already. Here he is. We brought him back already for you, Arun. What's up?
Hey, guys.
How
All right,
is it?
let's get right into the futures because that's what I'm here for, right? Sean and Neil are taking care of business on the stock side. Let me take care of the futures. Okay, levels. 45.50 is what I've got up top. It's the same level we were working with last week. 45.10 and change on the bottom. It does look like there's some sell side pressure. I managed to grab some shorts up there at 37, so I am sitting on a 3-point winner at the moment, but it could change really quickly off the open. So we are keeping an eye on what's going to be below 30 even. So 45.30 going on down. If there's support, you may have to open the door for potential longs. Keep in mind, if you got 45.10 on the bottom, 45.50 on the top, it's a 40-point range. So anything that's less than 20 points in risk seems like you can take a shot. Going long, see if you can grab it back to the top end of the range. For now, you are playing the range. If you can grab a nice short, if you can grab a nice long with a decent risk profile, then you are looking to take that trade to the other side of the range. Of course, if the range opens up, whether it's to the top or to the bottom, you do then have the potential for a breakout trade. So that's the two options you have going into the open. Keep in mind, you are going to get some volume coming in. We are off the long weekend now. I would still say that there's, it's not going to be as impressive as you would expect. Just because some people are still on vacation. It's not an immediate just back to work thing off of a long weekend. So I'd wait, be patient. Sometimes you might even have this week relatively go quiet. It'll be better than last week for sure, but it might still not be the full volume we're expecting. You would also love to be pleasantly surprised. In this kind of market, volume is king, right? So we do want some volume to come in. For now, though, we are stuck in that range, 45.50 on the top, 45.10 on the bottom. You can try to play inside the range, or if the range goes, then you try to play the breakout. Whichever way we go, that's the direction I would go as well.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow. Let's go to Spotify, guys. The next one on the list this morning had a bunch of upgrades last week. If you remember, a bunch of price target increases last week from analysts. KeyBank, the latest this morning to come out, upgrading the stock to overweight from sector weight. We're up 4.3% here. Nice look once again to start things off for Spotify.
Man, that was strong last week.
Yeah, I mean, Spotify was ridiculous. Well, not just last week. I mean, even if you look at it from where we came from for the last couple weeks there, that bottom of 200, as I get it called up here, was pretty amazing. I had no idea why it was falling like that. We talked about maybe the podcast games being stepped up by Apple and by Google and things like that. And now all of a sudden, maybe Spotify's not as sexy of an entity as it once was with a lot of competition. But I mean, I feel like there's always been competition there. I was just talking last week that we switched off our Spotify premium because we're now all in with Apple Music, and I haven't really seen any difference, obviously, between Apple Music and Spotify. I mean, there is going to be some, but I just think it increased competition. I believe it was last week Kathy Woods started stepping in and buying some of this just because of the valuation, I believe, anyways, or maybe it was just because some of these levels here at 230 look pretty nice. 220, I mean, all the way at the bottom, like I said, this 200 is pretty sweet. I was sort of thinking that we may get a bump here around 170, 190, where we had some consolidation earlier on. But right now, Spotify looks like it wants to go. The only problem is here, 39,000 shares right now, it looks like. So not a lot on tap here for Spotify, but it's definitely a nice bump up. I mean, again, I would rather it dump into the middle. Let's just call it a retracement half back. Like 4.5% seems to be a little bit much here, considering the news. But I mean, I guess KeyBank's latest upgrade, overweight, that makes sense. Growing faster than YouTube Premium. I'm not so sure about that, but they would know what we're talking about. And then, of course, the policies for Apple looking to maybe benefit them as Apple comes under the radar a little bit here for some of their privacy and whatnot. So let's wait to see what Spotify does. I think a pullback around 250 is pretty nice. I think 4.5% seems like it's too much, but we love playing upgrades. I just don't see on the daily chart any real levels to get too excited about until we get to about 300, believe it or not. So that may be sooner than we think.
I mean, I like the 275 and the 250 levels. which pretty much leaves you out to dry when it's trading at 260 because you're right in the middle, well, almost right in the middle, a couple of dollars away from that. So if it comes up to 275, I think it might be a solid fade at some point this week for a day trade. And then you're kind of hoping that this cluster here, at least the top end of it at 250, gives you support for a pullback. When you go to that 15-minute, it's not very, very clean. And if we were consolidating and giving a 256 break like here, I think that would have been a scalpable trade. But again, on no volume and essentially nothing happening, already breaking through that level, I'm not going to be chasing that one. If it wants to pull back into 250, I think that can be worth it. I did get into that IRNT. Gave a second chance, but instead I'm at 29 instead of 30, obviously. I'll give it to about that 31 level before taking another crack at that one. There's 25 minutes till the open, so still lots of time for things to happen here, especially in a mover like that.
Yeah, lots of time, lots of things to discuss here. Let's continue along, guys. These Chinese stocks, if you remember, had a bit of a bounce back at the end of the week last week. It was a little bit choppy, but we are seeing strength right across the board from this group again this morning, up nicely, 1+%, basically right across the board. JD.com, as I mentioned, had some news this morning. Their founder stepping back from active duties, essentially. We've had a number of these companies with founders doing the same over the past couple of months. This is all in relation to the tightening of regulations and restrictions coming from the Chinese government. But JD.com up 1.3% here. As I said, I mean, all of these guys, Pinduoduo, there's JD, there's Baidu, there's Baba, all nicely higher so far.
They absolutely are. There was news specifically for DD and JD as well because they're going with a good look. they're going with
the TV was still on.
It was still up a little bit there, but they're allowing forming of unions for both DD. I'm not sure if it's for drivers as well, but then JD is in addition to that not nearly as clean as what I think we see with that 41 in NEO. If you look at what that multi-day sort of breakout, but right around 81.50 to 82 on JD is setting up for a very similar thing. That being said, we just consolidated a bit lower. It does have the feeling like we're going to hold out here, maybe in this 80 to 82 range for a little bit before it does do that breakout. And then until you break there, there's probably something really weak up at like 86. There's just not a heck of a lot in the way on the upside of some of these names, especially if you're going to be breaking out. But it's just been it's been an outsized move for JD, which is up, the better part of 35% from its bottoms. When I wish I could say Alibaba was doing the same thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy that Alibaba's up at 175, but it hasn't been quite as big of a break back out for this particular name, which does have I think, more key level coming up here at 180. That's where I'm looking at this week. 82 looks solid. On JD, I just feel like that one's moved a little bit more than Baba here. So 180 is on my radar for this week on Alibaba. I don't really have any dip buying levels on Alibaba, but this one will be on the watch for me.
We talked about last week looking at FXI. I think that if you're going to be an investor in Chinese names, I think you just take the FXI, right, which is the Chinese ETF, which with the major caps. It's actually an iShares. It's called Trust China Large Cap iShares. So FXI, again, this is just talking about possibly putting something into your portfolio so you can hold it for a little while here. FXI, I think, is just well done, well cooked, down to $38, $39, into some support here. You can see some of these wicks on some of the worst days, down to 38, back to the support there. You're going all the way back to March of 2020, basically, which we all know what that means. Some of these levels down here, 33, 34, I don't think we see those. So if you could take an advantage of this with a little bit of less risk on the table, I think FXI makes a lot of sense. And then also here, I just want to talk because we just put out and this is part of what we're doing. Like I just put this out on Instagram. Success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. And I think that that's why, we decided to switch to 8:30 and come a little bit earlier. If you guys, want to join, follow me up there. This is the quote that we're talking about. There's also a couple stories out there for us on Instagram today. But the point is that I think if you're prepared for some of these dips here and some of the Chinese names, then you would have had some dry powder. Like we talked about, the last time I bought Alibaba was like 220. Save some for when it comes back down to these levels. And I just think FXI, I like it. I've talked about NTDOY as well, which is Nintendo. I think that has an opportunity to go here as well. Again, just into, come on, Nintendo, load up the chart here. Just as you see Nintendo dipping down, and we talked about this. I put a 56 bid bid never got filled. Obviously, that was the worst it could be, but that was just before I think we left for our vacation down there. And now it's up to 61, 62 again, and we'll see where it looks like it's going to open 63. So we're already opening all the way back up here on Nintendo. I think this one should be bought. And then TCEHY is another name for Tencent that I think needs to be looked at as well. So, you know, Tencent's another name that's all the way down. They're going to continue to get bad news. You know, they're one of the highest regulated. Again, WeChat is over there. They're in a lot of businesses just like Alibaba, but you know, you're seeing some of these bottoms being made, 64 right here. So, you know, there's some levels of concern for me on some of these names, and it looks like we're breaking back to the upside. So I like that, and we'll just see where it goes. Just a quick update. I see Daryl's talking about that. We tweeted on Friday that we bought more PaySafe. So that was at 230 or so. So you're going to see right now PaySafe, PSFE, starting to make some moves back to the upside here on New York. Come on, it's not a pink sheet stock. Back to 930, 935. So as you're going to see PaySafe starting to make some moves as well. I think we found a nice bottom there at 8 and change. So happy to have bought that on a Friday afternoon when we were down here around 9. Only up to 930. We probably do fall, but I think PaySafe starts to go as well back into the fintech names.
All right, we were talking about Match, guys, getting the uplist to the S&P 500. Here's another one making a move as of Friday. They announced aftermarket. WW going to the S&P 600. So up nicely here. No volume whatsoever, but almost 4% there for WW. Let's go on to NIO. I mean, it was a bit of a choppy week last week as well, but looking a little more positive here in the pre-market for some of these Chinese EV makers. They confirmed they are, in fact, going to launch a second sedan, the ET5. That was announced back in July at NIO Day. So they're going to go ahead with that. There was a number of positive mentions for the entire group as well. As far as Li Auto and XPeng and NIO are concerned, guys. So a little more positive this week than last.
100%. Like you can see that we're both sort of sitting in that NIO trade. I'm going to go to that in a quick little second here, but I'll hit this one because why not? Like everyone's here, obviously doing the futures for you guys, and did so well fitting in that I want to get some pews in. I did take some IRNT out there in front of 28 as it just bounced once. It just bounced again in front of 27. My average price at 29 and change. So we'll see if we can't get a further winner to the downside here. But there is a bit of a buyer in front of 27 right now. And as far as NIO goes, we sort of talked about this being, more of a multi-day breakout setup. But it is worth sort of noting. If you go to the daily chart here, it is worth noting. This is an early sort of stage. If you consider this possibly making a run back towards like the next clear level to the upside, like you have like a 48 level above the 50 period here, which would be this lower high, and again, this is a lower high from another lower high. So I think you're early stage in what could be a recovery for NIO. We know it's been dragged. All of the EV names have been dragged down by the chip shortage there. So what I love about this break is you're really pretty tight towards what was the previous top end of this cluster, which was even that $40 level. So you get an even $40 support level kind of in front of this breakout that you're getting here, right? You put in that bottom on Friday as well as a double bottom off of 40, trying to break it, and then now you're getting that 41 break. So there's a lot to like about this particular setup. I didn't even look at the other auto names, and it's not just because of volume, it's mostly because of volume while we trade NIO, but I just absolutely love the way that this one sets up. Even if it were to give a bit of a fail, like break a 40-50 here, I think you could at least look for a 40 dip buy off of this level. It did break 40 twice, it looks like to me, maybe even 3 times on Friday, and then just sort of came right back. So that could be another area of support here for NIO. But I just love the fact there's so much room past this 41 that if it continues, you could have a multi-day rally potentially. The only downside, of course, being volume and the market not moving. So you want NIO to maybe lead the way here a little bit. And for anyone wondering about Cassava Sciences, I'm not short this name, but if it gets anywhere close to like 49, I'll probably take my first one.
All right, we're just putting some lower bids here for NIO. We were in this one early. Obviously, the NASDAQ started to fade back a little bit here. So, this was a trade of the day a couple times last week. The playbook remains the same. If we can get any bids back down here to 40, this could be a horrible day for the market, right? We're back here in September. not probably, but a lot of traders back in the saddle here, trying to rebalance. We talked about the September effect as well on some of the videos that we released this weekend. So we'll wait back down here for $40 to come through, and then that's going to be a good spot to dip by here for NIO. But right now we're testing some of the waters long. We'll get longer again here at 40.50. And then right now it's looking like the market, I mean, we still have 15 minutes. I mean, it's unbelievable. We talked about being in Tesla a little bit too early there, and now the market wants to fall back down. So let's just quickly look at some imbalance locator. I mean, nothing. I mean, it's even gotten worse. Pfizer even paired off, and nothing here at all. Alibaba with a buy. We talked. You mentioned Visa earlier, Brendan. That seems to be good news, and that name's been beat up as well. So other than that, ChargePoint, CHPT is here as well. I guess that's ChargePoint back on the watch. Ford as a sell, yeah, back down through 13. So I think this is not setting up to be a very good day here in the market. It doesn't look like there's too much interest in a lot of these names, but Beyond Meat. So there's again another one. MasterCard now with news out just now. Acquisition of AI. I don't know what that is. Doesn't seem to be moving anything, but MasterCard's another name on watch, as well as AXP. I like all of these names. And then the big runner in this space is Visa, and we just talked about PaySafe as well. So let's wait to see, but we still got 15 minutes to go. NIO, the story is the same. Like I said, we're going to be buying some dips. And then it's on the sticky note here, just in case we do get a runner today. And I said, if we get going, we got to look at a 41.50 break, because on a daily chart, we're getting up there, and we topped out at 41.50. It's right here at some of these little spots. And again, it's just because we like the 50 levels. So NIO has to get going, but we're averaging in all the way back down to 40. Hopefully we don't have to, but I want to watch to see what does happen at 40. And then of course we had Japan. We talked about Nintendo there. Didn't mean to catch those up with some of the Chinese names, but we do look at the pink sheets, and I just noticed that that's been coming down on Nintendo with the rest of the market. So obviously it's not a Chinese name, but you've seen it's fall down, and I just do like that with heading into not Boxing Day, Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Oh my God.
I know.
Is it April yet?
Dude, I knew exactly what
Friday.
you meant the whole time, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that day too?
Yeah.
Oh
Black
yeah,
Friday.
the biggest holiday in the U.S. because it's got to be one.
Is
of
it
our
even a
shopping.
holiday? I mean, it's just
Well,
one of those
I mean-
celebrated
I mean
where
Thanksgiving.
people beat the crap out of each other. Yeah, Thanksgiving at Walmarts. I mean, you always wait for those videos.
online.
I don't understand like why people running to save like $100 on a TV, and the next thing you know, someone gets cracked over the head with a TV. So just shop online and support your online, support your local retailers. How about that instead of Walmart all the time? But
Good for you to say that, because I was about to be like, support Walmart and Amazon because I love them both. But
and then I went the complete other way.
I know. But hey, man, why not support local? It's obviously a good thing to do. I'm not ragging on supporting
I
local.
have Amazon Prime too.
Yeah, it's just I love Amazon and I love Walmart, which could be doing a heck of a lot better stock price wise, Brendan.
Article on the weekend. It's interesting you mentioned that Amazon set to surpass both FedEx and UPS at some point. It didn't really project a timeline, but going to surpass both of them as far as deliveries are concerned for consumer goods. Cassava Sciences. Let's move on here, guys. Cassava Sciences gave us all kinds of opportunities again back on Friday. If you remember, they came out and officially responded to that law firm in New York that claimed fraud was happening when it came to their Alzheimer's treatment trial results that were misleading, according to this law firm. Down again here, big time, guys. 6.5% for Sava.
Yeah, I just
What a
don't-
stock, man.
Yeah, I don't see how you can get involved with this to the long side, guys, because honestly, like with this news, we talked about this last week and we looked at the daily chart. And remember we said, if it ever comes back down into this 50 level, it's probably worth a buy because we came back in.
I know I said it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
God,
and then we went
no.
up to 60.40.
Not
But the
anymore.
thing is like, when all of these, I mean, we just zoom in a little bit more to see the daily chart. Like, when this news kind of comes out, I guess it's when they sort of say when there's smoke, there's fire. And I mean, it just looks like that's going to be the case here. 120, 130, these tops, where everyone was sort of, the story started, what Neil was talking about right before, I guess before last week. And then last week, this is where I thought there might have been some sort of reprieve, because we came back down here to 50 and bounced a whole bunch of times. And then all of a sudden on Friday, we sort of had, this cascade down just all day until eventually finding a bottom at 46. And I think that's where we need to look today, because we're bouncing off of here at 46.50. And that looks to be the level. I said 45.50, taking out this very bottom here. But I think of 46.50, again, there's still only, darn it, there's still 12 minutes to go. Like, I really, this is just a 1 minute chart. Look, there's lawsuits coming. We talked about our watches. You can get all the information there. It seems like there may have been, I don't know. I mean, again, the company's fighting back here. We'll have to see where this goes. But honestly, I just feel like when you've had a run the way Sava has, and I don't know if people are feeling, again, misled, obviously, because you're up to 140, then you dip. Like, what happened here? Like 140 down to 70, and then and then all the way back. Like, so the stock has this capability of coming back. So we'll wait to see what it does. But to me now, I think you got to look even lower, man. 36, 37, something like that as some sort of support before this all started. I forget the name of their drug, but before this all started, when it started to get approval, it started to ramp up. So now we'll wait to see if we can bounce off at 37.50. But for right now, man, I'm all aboard this Sava train to the downside. I think you got to play the momentum. That's 46.50. I'd love to hit that if that comes through, but still 10 minutes left. I think you got to wait. So I'm going to give it to the open, but Sava's going to be a name that I'm looking at for sure, possibly fading out through here. 48's like just average into this short if we can get it, and we still have that 50-50 as some resistance.
Yeah, I'm shorting this one up to 50, I think 51, 1/2. I got that one short till, and I might start it at 49. I already have an offer out here pretty much like right in front of 49. That 46.50 looks pretty juicy. I just feel like I don't know how you're wrong short unless this is both breaking 51, and then I guess you look at that 51.5, which would have been that little low here. And again, this is a 15-minute chart. What a ridiculous move that one made. And the only note I'll make just for setup, so if you're ever looking at these again, like have a quick look at that 15-minute. And when this thing apparently spiked in the pre-market, again, I wasn't here, but at 8 o'clock, this runs pre-market all the way from 50 up right into this key level, like the 65, just wicks up here, gives you that big fail, probably gives you some kind of a short 61, 62. And that's one of those ones where, sort of learning from when everyone had that $20 winner in Sava and sort of figuring things out a little bit better a couple weeks ago on Sava because of that. I think you could have had a short in there where you do risk like $5, and you had to know you're waiting at least until 52, 53 to get out. And I similarly feel that, if you get into a short and this does not take out 51 and that low gets going, like maybe there's a first out there for some shares at 45 if there's an iceberg. But after that, it's just, you got to feel like there's a chance that you're trading in the 35 to 38 range at some point, and that downside is there, and you got to be willing to try to hold on to it, especially if you want to risk like $3 to $5 on the trade.
Just quickly, I just wanted to address this Daniel Flores guy here. What's up, Daniel? Thank you for being a member. You're definitely a good part of our team here. Sean Keenan is the man, so that's nice. So I always read that, so that's good. And then, except in NBA Jam, he would get smoked. I don't know about that. I'd just be Glenn Rice and start raining some threes on people on NBA Jam. But there we go. So I said he's on fire. But thank you, Daniel, for that. We do like to talk about video games a little bit, especially old school ones. We're actually talking about some old school video games this weekend.
We were.
Neil and I had our fantasy draft and went quite well. And we talked about.
It was NBA Jam. There was
NBA Jam. We talked about Street Fighter.
There was a Becker's near our high school.
Yeah,
that had like it had an NBA Jam.
Becker's may be Canadian, but very similar to 7-Eleven.
You had like a 7-Eleven. Yeah, NBA Jam we used to play because we had the coin on the stick, and we just had unbelievable run on that thing all lunchtime, and maybe sometimes past that, which we should.
Or we used to call them slugs. You had like like fake coins, so they were like, yeah, exactly. Don't tell the owner of Becker's there in Brampton. I won't give you the address, but I don't think Becker's even exists anymore.
It's probably not even the same. Yeah,
there, Brennan. But yeah, whoever owned that machine, I don't think got full value.
No.
We also might be dating ourselves here. Wow, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Memories, guys. Becker's. Wow, that's an oldie but a goodie. Let's go back to vaccine land. There was news on NVAX this morning. If you remember last week, Takeda over in Japan announced that they were pulling, I think it was 2.3 million. This might have gone back 2 weeks, actually. 2.3 million doses of Moderna's vaccine off the shelf. So the Japanese government has announced that they will purchase 150 million doses of Takeda's COVID-19 vaccine, which, guys, they are using essentially Novavax's recipe for this vaccine. So there is a tie there. They announced that deal way back at the end of last year, I believe it was. But NVAX here up nicely, 1.6%. But another one starting to come back a little bit.
Yeah, starting to fade. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get this 260. How many charts look exactly like this, where you have like 2 or 3 days, or at least a couple of days worth of trying to take out a recent high, and then you come in gapping in today around that same high and pulling back? I mean, Neo's doing it. probably looked at half the chart we've shown you this morning, look about the same. And on the daily chart, probably even more significant up around that 260 level, because it's not just this recent double top and then a few days worth of action here. You can also go right back into April. So, I'll be interested when Novavax tries to take out that 260 again. I think it's primed for a potential bit of a break. It looks like it has to consolidate first. I thought maybe there'd be the volume to get us there today. It was the only thing I wrote down, but that doesn't seem all that likely. Obviously, there's more pressing names that we want to watch here today. That IRNT did get some out that 27 range, so that looking pretty good. Of course, NEO, maybe not, and Cassava Science is going to be the big one. But do watch out for that 260 on Novavax. I think when it does break, in the event that it does break, it's got some clear sailing to 300 if it can get through that 260 level. It's tried and failed a few times.
See, the thing about Glen Rice is that someone's mentioning here about, here it is, here's Marcella. What's up, Marcella? Glen Rice, there was some Robert Ory talk here as well. But John Stockton, John Stockton was pretty sweet there in NBA Jam. The thing about Glen Rice is, wasn't Alonzo Mourning? You could have Glen Rice and Alonzo Mourning, so you get someone to clean up the boards in case you miss
blocks everything.
So that was the benefit there. A little bit better than Karl Malone, maybe in the game, not overall, but in the game, I think had some better quality there. Okay, AMC, just to give you guys a little bit of update here. We like to play names that have momentum. Today it looks like they have a little bit up 3%. We'll see what happens. I like it if it takes out 46 here on AMC. I mean, we're looking really at a 49 break up here, maybe 48.50 to really start this thing going up back up to $60. I think there is a chance for that to happen. I know that's, a lot of you are hoping that AMC can return to highs. I never thought we'd even really be here right now. Not that I didn't think we'd be here, but, just that some of this would catch up to it. But right now, man, the momentum, people are going to call this one a meme stock, but honestly, it's been holding up. It's not trading anywhere as crazy as some of these other stocks that we've been talking about. So I like AMC here. Off a 20-minute chart, you can see this is that 46 break. Some action there on the first and second, even the third last Friday. So we're going to wait. It didn't get up there, but we're still looking at this 46 level to see some breaking spots all the way back to 31st of August. So I like that, and I like any longs here on AMC today, especially if we dip back into some of these levels, 45 and change, 44.50. We'll see. To be wrong, I'd rather just close this gap and be wrong somewhere around here, 43.50. So we are going to sort of rest on this one with AMC. But as the market trying to get back here a little bit, some of these stocks falling down, we're going to get out of our Tesla soon. If Tesla does break here, we're getting very, very close. I don't want to hold this too much. It get all the way to the top. We do take that 42 break here, and then I guess it goes, this is still AMC. I was going to say we're back into this area right here. So that was that 42 break. We hovered around there. Futures started to fall back down. So now I just can't wait for this market to open just to see what happens. We will get out of Tesla, the majority of the shares, on a 739 break. I just think that's going to happen soon. So that probably gets wicked out. We'll see if we can buy some back around 736. But this market may be in trouble today on the NASDAQ. So watch out. We're still flat, but definitely feels heavier than stronger. So let's wait out to see on Tesla. Looking like it wants to break. We may adjust the stop just so we don't get wicked out early, but it looks like it's going to be 739 or so coming sooner than we thought.
A couple minutes ago here, guys, before we get to the open, a few small ones, bottom end of the list. ADAP, one of those still up 25% here. If you go to the daily chart, there's a very, very clear level going back to a couple of months back at 6 that was tested a number of times, 1, 2, 3, 4, before it actually became resistance. So 6, a big level. We're already above it. If this is above 6, it's a long. Below 6, we'll look to short ADAP, guys, but pretty clear level at 6 for ADAP.
Also, there's that RNXT, which is also on the watch list. That's, again, just one of these, I guess, like gap and runners. I'm watching a 1250 level and a 1350 up at the top. But CEI, Camber Energy, a lot of you guys have been saying in the chat, making a run to the even $1. And again, I'll show you here, this is $1 on the daily chart. But I guess more importantly, I should show you what it did on Friday's action. Big time breakout, but then pulled back into 80 cents. Now you're getting a run into $1. And I didn't see anything yet that's like ridiculous on the offer. Sometimes you'll get like a gigantic like $1 offer, but there were a couple like 250,000 share bids on the way up here that I was able to just recently catch. I wasn't looking at this until literally like a couple of minutes ago. That $1 level could be an interesting one for me. I don't know too much about the stock, but it is now on the radar. I am in IRNT, which we did mention, and just to quickly show you that RNXT, because This is the other one that's probably one of the bigger runners. It was in and out a couple of times. Just not really feeling that one. An IRNT looking a little bit more interesting to me. This has been a choppy stock. And when I lean into this, again, this is another one of those recent listings that just kind of went crazy last week for reasons. But I look at these levels here. This is about 1280. And then you get into like $12 right in here, this cluster 12 to 1280. That looks pretty actionable for a resistance level. That's kind of why I said 1250. Somewhere in the middle of that range. If it spikes into that price, I think that's where I'd want to be shorting. But any one of these, whether it's RNXT or IRNT, which I'm in right now, I anticipate these could possibly halt. I mean, this is the kind of stock that could halt off the open on me. You've seen what it's doing, gapping to the upside here. So at all times, I want to make sure that I have a stop on a stock like this so that it can't push up, halt to the upside, and then I get trapped. So it's currently sitting at, I'm currently giving it to this 31 level. My last entry was at a 29.7 there, guys. It does sit in the money about $1.50, but I mean, $1.50 isn't ridiculous on this stock. It was trading at 38 at one point in the pre-market. So looks like Ms. V's in green and the market just turned red. We're going to need those powers for sure to start the week.
Let's go.
We got some NIO, which we need to make a bit of a bounce, although it's still not doing a heck of a lot of volume, even as we get to drop the bell for the countdown. Let's get this party started on a Tuesday. Holiday shortened week. Still should be some action anyways. Cassava Sciences kind of ho-humming around that bottom. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go.
All right, here we go, guys. Let's start this day off. We're going to watch Palantir through 27. We did take a bid here on AMC. It does drop down to that 45 level here on AMC. So we just got into that just as the market opened. So nice little ripper upside for AMC, 30 cents. Let's go.
Yeah, and we test the IRNT right here at 27.50 again. So for now, it's trying to make that bounce. NIO does make another run Tesla here finally into 41, but it's failing. So it gets right to 41 again and immediately starts to drop back into the downside, guys. Just hadn't been able to sustain it. Pre-market highs trying to test on NEO here. Where's that Tesla going? Yeah,
Tesla looks like we got $1 right now in the money on Tesla. So that one's starting to go finally here for us. Nice little $1 in the money on Tesla. Nice little 40 cents in the money on AMC. And then here we go. Yeah, there we go. What did we just get out at? NEO, bang! We're gonna go 3 for 3
here.
There we go. Spin it. Where Saturn is gone, but we're happy Neil's back as the winners just keep on coming. And I just completed a trade, Neil. I did Gaskin for Hawkinson there. So we'll see where that goes. There goes Neo, a nice little runner here to the upside.
You can't distract me like that. I was like,
let's go.
I almost didn't take shares out at 41.50 because I was like, Gaskin for Hawkinson, trying to figure it out. Everything working to the upside or downside. We'll go grenade action for that IRNT, which we talked about liking this one to the short side over some others. That just dropped to $25. So now about $4 in the money. If it breaks 25, this was a $16 stock on Friday. I don't know where the bottom's going to be, but it certainly could be lower than here. Sava's the only one not doing anything, oddly enough.
Okay, here goes AMC. Look at that, guys. $1 in the money. We just took that as well. So, today's going to be one of these kind of days as we go. Tesla right now, $5 in the money. How do we like that? Tesla right there. We take that against us. We hold it back to 739. We talked about that one. And now Tesla's back up to 750. Guys, we are just cruising right now. Wow, what a big day this has been for us. AMC straight to the upside. We did take a little bit of a 46 break because we had that order in there. So that's why it's going to show us long right there at 46. But what a good trade that was off that bottom. AMC to the moon for that one. And Tesla now $6 now in the money resisting that 750.
I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. There was just a refresher at 25 on IRNT. I know it took a while to say it. But if you're going to give me this trade on a holiday shortened week where I'm going to take almost a $5 win on IRNT right off the open, it does feel like it's catching a bit of an iceberg. It just broke for the third time, 25, and I'll see if the bid does recover here. But I'm taking the winner and running with it. I don't want to get more shares of NIO just yet. But I am starting to think that this breakout, which got you the quarters and got you to that 50 level, I think there's a dip buy that could come in. If it gets anywhere close to that 41, I'm going to be all over it. RNXT did absolutely nothing as well, guys. So you had to be in the ones that were moving. I didn't like any of these other names until we actually got to the open, but it did just bounce off that bottom here at 1080. Does give you a chance to retest 12 even, which I would short. Sava's now at 48. So could be fading that one if it gets close to that 49.50 level after all. Brendo?
Not a big mover yet, but shout out to Daryl. What's up, Daryl? CCL. Huge print, guys, at the open there. Lots of volume came into the upside, back above 23 for CCL.
All right, just call it what it is right now. We'll do a little bit of a hot dog cannon because we did get out of our Tesla right there at 748 and change, or so 748 basically exactly there as we sit there. It still could take out 750. I think that probably does happen. It's just that move up in the NASDAQ here. We have to take something off. I mean, Tesla was basically not left for dead, but we were all the way down here at some of our kill spots there. So really happy to get out of that Tesla, and that's why you got to play momentum. We talked about that over and over again, and why we took AMC. However, AMC seems like it wants to fall right back down now. So, good trade there. Out. That would have been a nice dollar, but now we're stuck a little bit long here. It looks like we got probably stuck on Tesla, that's for sure. On AMC. NEO all the way to the upside, 41.60. I think Neil took some out or all of it out. I don't know.
I still have a little bit left.
Yeah, me too.
I'm kicking myself over this one.
Which was it?
Novavax is at 266. So, yeah, while that was going on, that break does happen at 260 on NVAX. I kind of was like, it'll probably break at some point this week. Some point this week was at 932. So NVAX off to the races obviously is a key break. This is what we're showing on the daily chart. If it pulls back and wants to give me a look in front of that 260 again, I got to go ahead and take it that way. So Novavax on the run. NEO trying to take out 41.50 again. I'm still holding on to that. And IRNT looks like stalling out at 25 is still a thing. That was probably a good exit. Thank you very much, Ms. V. We got a refill on the coffee.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh, that's way too full.
Ooh, that was close. Frothy.
Frothy. Sorry, guys.
I don't stop.
We have a lot of fun here.
Here we go.
Why was yours so? Anyways.
Don't worry why mine was so frothy, okay? All right, so here we go. So Sava, we take the short now, breaking through 47. So we just waited. I mean, I don't know why we didn't get any short up here. 48.79 I was waiting for, so it only gets as high as 48.50 or so. So we'll take Sava now. We still have some of these outs targeted. You know what? I'll get out if we retake this 48.20. I don't think we deserve to be back up here, so maybe 48.50. We'll take some out. So I don't want to hold this one too long, but that's going to be a good trade. What's Tesla doing? Oh man, Tesla's breaking through 750 now. Man, did we have that one long for $10 about. Got out of it. We did empty some of our AMC out here on the battle back. We want to make sure that we stay positive on this name. So boom, we're still very positive on it. Hopefully now it can continue to the upside. Sava, Pfizer, by the way. Oops, new position alert on Pfizer. We did take a Pfizer long. Breaking through 47.25, it goes all the way to 50 there, giving us that 25 cents, and we stare that in the face. So we got to watch out for that one as it's coming back in now, the market. So 47.25, we did have a nice win. It goes all the way up. We're too busy celebrating. And again, we actually have, the winner that we had on Tesla was so much bigger than this. They didn't even notice this, but now we have to get out. Let's put some offers up here, 47.40, something like that, if we're lucky enough to get that on Pfizer. Still lots going on with these third shots and whatnot.
Yeah, I know. We still see some of that. There's a halt apparently on OPAD. I'll check that one out in a second, but Moderna also breaking out there. We saw Pfizer going. Moderna through 420 just now, so this is absolutely on a tear here. I'll just quickly go into the daily chart because this is breaking clean. This previous 416 level that we're looking at, and there's not much of anything but air up here if it can sustain this move. But if I'm telling you right now, like if this thing starts to pull back off of like 425, watch for that previous, resistance to maybe turn to support. That's the only place to buy the dip. NEO still churning through that 41.50. I'm trying to be patient on Cassava Sciences, but it's gone up twice and tested 48 and failed. If it gets to that 49, I'm still waiting in front of 49. But if it does roll over shy of that, I'm gonna have to take like 70s or 80s instead of waiting for like 48.95, which can be a little bit too picky. Brendan?
Well, it gave us some pretty good opportunities last week. KPLT, if you remember, Catapult starting to go here again, 12%. The past couple of days was pretty active, to say the least. Friday we got up there to 760, but Catapult, guys, KPLT.
Catapult, yeah, watch. Oh, we have a pretty cool thing there for Catapult. Why don't I think about that? Well, where's my Catapult thing? There it is. We have a thing that's called Catapult here on our system. So there it goes. Well, did that work?
Did it work?
I don't know. Did it work? I didn't see it either. There it is. Yeah, there we go. We got catapulted out there. So it's KPLT. All right, we're just watching out for some of our shares here and what we have on board. So Sava right now, Neil just talked about that. We are short again as it comes right back to the upside here. I don't want to hold this too much past 49. We've talked about it. If it wanted to fail, we'll take it. But right now, it's not a heavy position because of what's been happening with this stock. You can make a lot of money on not very many shares. Same way you can lose a lot of money on not too many shares. As there goes NEO now 70 cents in the money. So that's a good one. Giving Cassava Scientists up to 51, I think, needs to be done here. So we do have a temporary out around this 49, and then if I can, I want to reload the boat up here between 50 and 50.50. So we will get out if this does fail on the upside, but we'll wait to see here where it goes. But that's still something that we're looking at with Cassava Scientists.
Yeah, and DD on the move here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that OPAD stock. It reopened. I got some crazy wicks going on in this stock. Looks like it went to like 11.50 and then halted. It came back in. I don't think any of these prints down here are real, Brendan.
On that offer pad solutions.
What the heck is
yeah, I'll double check on that. Just had an alert go off on this one though, guys. PDD through day highs there. 108, I guess, on a huge volume spike starting to go for Pinduoduo.
Ooh, Pinduoduo. Yeah, some of these Chinese names starting to go. I mean, we already have Neo, which is a big win for us as well, up to 41.70. Yes, sir. A nice little bid there early. And then we wrote down on our list here, watch out for 41.50. Fortunately, we don't have those orders in, but there it goes, man. Right off the sticky notes, we say, what's up to Sticky Note Nation? Remember, you're just trying to sign up, some of this cash. You line this up. You make sure that you're making the right trades for you and your account, right? So just be very, very careful. Don't get too, caught up here. It's very, very early on in the week. We're actually only 9 minutes in. So some of these wins, you got to take them with a grain of salt. And if you can't, catch some of them, that's great. Man. Bank your profits. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So good one on that one. We did some of that on Pfizer. Now we're starting to fall back in. So let's find a spot where we're wrong here on Pfizer. We may already be wrong. But what about back into here off Friday's bottoms that we tried to hold, 46.70. So let's see if we can average in back to 46.70 here on Pfizer.
So Dominic, I see you there. Thank you for the super chat. FCUV just got added to the list. The volume is so low though, so watch out for these halt plays when 280,000 shares.
That was a halt one last week.
Yeah, and it was. I looked at it. It's a mover last week, but that is ridiculously thin. So it could be like a multiple halt situation, and it does go right into a nice level here. If it gets to like past the 16 area, you have another failure up here at like 18. So some actionable trades for me that I'd be looking at. But Sava just makes its move, right?
Moved up.
And of course, I had just said, maybe I'll have to take it shy of that 49. I had just done it. And then it starts spiking into like 49.50 and then 50 even. Remember I said in the stock, I don't see how there's wrong on a short until you get to like 51.50. So that means I'm taking more shares up here in front of 50, almost no question about it. I only want to be in one direction on Cassava Sciences, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You just got to be able to live with the consequences there. I did talk about that. I did talk about that in Novavax, and it looks like this is going to be the continued missed opportunity. It obviously broke that 260. I'm trying to bid back here in case it gets down to like 262, maybe 63s I'd have to go up to, but still holding very strong. It did stall in front of 270, but very, very strong move on Novavax. Didn't think it would happen so fast. Brendo?
All right, so this offer pad, guys, appears to be another one of these SPAC conversions that are just very, very small. Starting to go here, 27 million free float on this. If you look at the daily chart, yeah, day number 3 trading as offer pad after it completed their SPAC conversion, guys.
These are crazy.
Yeah, Neo's now at 41.76. Like, wow, what a win that was here. And we tweeted this out when we had these in the pre-market. Those of you that saw that, saw a little bit of an undercover action there, which was very, very nice. Nice longs here for us in the pre-market. So that's hopefully going to be something that we can hold our hat on there as we continue to make some moves here in the market. Watch out now, Sava. We did reload as well at 49.50. So our average price now 49.09. We did talk about that, and let's just wait to see if it does come through now, up to 49 and change. We're still giving us this one to 50, 51 or so on Sava. I mean, again, I just think where there's smoke, there's fire, and obviously that fire's here. We're down 60% in a week. So Cassava Scientists hopefully can fade back in. We lost very, very small. This was part of the plan. I just didn't want, you've seen me before, average all the way up. And again, it's just like we talk about this. I'm going to be wrong because of where I get out right there at 49, but it does allow me to reload at 49.50. So, we do save a little bit of money on that one. And then look at AMC, guys. As we go off to the races, man, we'll floss out on AMC. We're long, and then it goes up to 47 or so. So this is what we wrote down again on our sticky note. If you want to follow that, it's on Twitter. And I just say watch the long through 46 and then watch what happens at 48. But it looks like 47 might be the top there. So let's put another offer here around this 47 area, but we are looking at 48 as well. This is that top right there, 48.50. So AMC starting to run. fun. And again, congratulations to anybody watching this name. I know there's a lot of money being made right now.
Yeah, and that FCUV opens up. It's still churning higher. Got to make sure we get some locates on this bad boy. That other name that we're looking at, of course, that recent, I guess, SPAC, OPAD, was restricted in our system. I'll have to get that one unlocked, but very cheap on FCUV to get some locates. Brendo?
SoFi, guys, just popping up here. Nice little run to start things off. Tagged, we didn't get quite to 16, but decent volume of 5% again for SoFi.
Not bad. And another one that's actually making some moves. You remember that CEI? It just broke for the third or fourth time in the morning, that $1 level. And I don't know why it's still on FCUV because I was just looking at it. But this level just keeps going back and forth on good volume. It's now 70 million shares worth of volume here on CEI, but it just keeps on going back and forth between this $1 range. If it eventually holds below there, could be a short with resistance at 1 even. Otherwise, it's FCUV that kind of is catching my attention right now. I'm holding again Sava. If it doesn't break 51.50, there's nothing. I don't think I'm wrong on the short until it gets to that price. Now short at 49, so I do have the price I originally intended after all of that mess. But this FCUV trying to hold above the halt up price here, which is about 16 even. So looking very, very strong. Gets below there, could turn into a bit of a short. This was a runner last week. Of course, I wasn't here, but you can clearly see there was a failure on Friday up around this $18 range. So if it got to that price, I'd look for a fade as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a plan of action here for Sava, same thing as you. AMC now breaking through 47. So, I mean, apparently if you just hit one of these things that it just keeps on working. So let's do that again. Where is it? There it is. Let's go to the moon now with AMC. So we'll see if that can continue to go. There it is. Look at that big diamond dance. Got to try to have some of these on AMC as we're now in the money. We're only in the money on this one $1, but our initial buy is now $2 in the money. So a good hold for anybody that was able to. I wasn't. I cashed it out there for the $1. But now we're going to see if we can make a little bit more money on the backside here of AMC. Starting to rip upside. 47, it just stopped. I think that's a good out for us if we can get it next time. 47, we'll just take out this $2 move here on AMC. Catch this top. Nothing wrong with doing that as we go. So we'll watch for AMC and just take a little bit out. I'm nervous about that 48 anyway, so we're in the money $1. Let's just take this out here on AMC and see what happens. If it does go above 47, then we'll play the 47 break back down as our out. But as you can see, we are resisting a bit here on AMC.
Yeah, and another mover here is going to be Clover. It's only up about 6%. I say only, which that's a pretty good return, obviously, for anyone involved. But failure again Friday. Another one of these names that had a bit of a failure up at the top here, like a 930 into about 950. And that's exactly the range it's retesting. So I'm eyeballing 950 to see what kind of an offer it has on there. That NEO is starting to stall out at 41.75. So have to really start thinking about what the next move is going to be here in NIO. When you do pull it back, right? Like you go all the way back here in the 15-minute. You had a cluster around this 42 area on the day that it retested 41 as a downside and then gap below it. So that is a level that does make a little bit of sense if there was resistance. Through there, though, not a heck of a lot till you get to 44. So that's why I want to try to hold on to NIO, see if it has a little bit more runway, guys. That NVAX is getting pretty close. Well, I just got JD.com on a bit of a breakup, but I want to say NVAX is getting very, very close to maybe giving that dip buy that I was looking for. So I wanted to cash that one. If it makes a move down into 262, it's now putting in another lower high, breaks VWAP, could be buying that in the dip. But JD just broke 82 even. That's another one for the morning prep there. Late move on JD.com.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we talked about that. You got to be prepared if you're gonna win at this game. So watching the right names makes a lot of sense. We did talk about Clover. I've been buying this thing all the way down, and finally today it's starting to make a little bit of a move up that 7%. If you check out a 3-minute chart here, we're right back to where we were on Friday open. So that level is basically 950. So you take out 950, you might have some magic here to come on Clover. So watch out for that level possibly being taken out as well. So that's CLOV up to 950 is a little spot. Okay, Pfizer, we've averaged into that one. This is coming back to the downside right now pretty fast. This is going to be, oops, that's still Clover chart. This is going to be a loser, obviously, for us, but we did take that one last stab here. We're going to see what happens around this 46.75 mark. So, I mean, I don't want to say that this dream is over yet. I still think we can go back to the upside. We're only long at 47.07 out of the money right now on Pfizer, 20 cents. Far from the end of the world, but we never like to lose. So if this one does break down, we will take a hit on that. And then NEO right now, you know, it's bouncing around the top. I don't mind trying to hold this, but that 4180 still looks to be a very, very good top. I can't be wrong taking it out there, I don't think. But at the same time, you know, if it does break and go to the upside, then I want to have something on. And the reason why is look at Tesla, man. Tesla just ripped up. Like, we missed all of this. It just took out 750. Oh, we didn't miss it all. We got $7 or whatever. But right to the upside there, resisting now 754. This would have been a great spot if you're still long on Tesla. You've already created some action upside here. So I think it's a decent opportunity to get out right now on Tesla if you wanted to, because it is starting to break back down, or use 750 and VWAP as you're out. But hopefully some of you caught that with me on the pre-market, this long Tesla, bang, bang to the upside. You know, should have been held, but hey, we'll take the money when it's there. We did think the NASDAQ was going to be doing this kind of stuff today, back, forth, and around. I just thought we were heavier than we were stronger, so that's why we did get out of that Tesla win. Yeah,
and we'll go with a little power up for that JD. Late move on JD.com, obviously, this 82 level eventually gets taken out. It's an even dollar break, and again, it wasn't a very clean multi-day high because you had 81.60 around here last week, and you had a pre-market high above that, so I'm always going to round up in that case. You get an 82 break. I've scalped some out of it, but it's Cassava Sciences, which, you know, you got to start thinking about the plan of action as this one starts to round out to the downside here. Now, back to basically flat, but, you know, remember, I want to be giving this one to like 51, 51.5. So if I'm looking for a first out, it's got to be somewhere between, call it 46.75. I'm sitting on the bid 47.50. That's the top end of that range. If it comes strongly enough to the downside, I might pull that back to 47.1, and then the next out would be in front of low of the day, and then after that, I just want to be holding on to this stock. So now into all the shares that I want for, it's going to be very binary from this point on. Miss V is at the big screen and has a name for us.
Hey Neil, insurance company Hippo is trading on a high volume and up around 13%. Could you guys take a look at HIPO for us?
Why not? I think maybe it was this name, and like someone had asked in the chat, and they were like, "What do you think about Root?" And it might have been HIPO at the same time. I'm gonna go out on a limb because I haven't looked at Root. I promise you, Root's not up 15%. That's for damn sure. But anyways, it's not to bag on Root. I like lemonade better, not to drink the stock. But Hippo, actually, okay, that's an interesting move. I didn't see this one. Obviously, I didn't trade last week, so I didn't have a chance to witness the bottom that got put in here. And if you immediately look at the 15, the first thing that's going to jump out is a strong move off of a higher support at 4. Was it always 420? This is a legit 420 low on that move down. And then breaking this morning the top end of that consolidation. So you get a lower high put in, holding on a dime and an absolute wipeout, and then making a bit of a breakout here through 560. What I don't love about this breakout is look at all the resistance that you have on the way up. It's like you have all these stop points and failures right around that 6 to 650, which is exactly where it's stalling out. So I'm not sure this one's going to have the runway unless there's a huge short interest that I'm not aware about. Maybe that's the case. That could give it some juice, though. Brendan?
Clean energy name just popping up here, guys. One we've looked at before. SPI Energy launched an Amazon store for some solar products, looks like as of today. So 20% move for SPI here on decent volume.
I know SPI.
Yeah, we know SPI for sure. Check out what's happening right here with Pfizer. So yeah, the good keeps on getting better, as Pfizer just nicely to the upside. Ooh, I thought we just got out there. I guess we did not. I thought I got a fill at 18. We did not. Ooh, we just, I was at 18. Thought we got it, but we did not. So right there goes Pfizer to the upside. Good averages in down there at 41 average in at 46.90. We let that fall. We talked about our plan of action there. So executed. So we're pretty happy when that happens, when we're able to execute a trade that actually turns out well. So there we go. Now to the upside goes Pfizer. We're waiting at 47.13. It's a good trade, man. I mean, we're in the money now, and here it goes. Let's see if it can resist this dip down in the market. I'm still waiting at 47.18. There we go. We just got it. So there goes a nice little out there at 47.18 for Pfizer. So that's, you know, now 26 cents in the money. As NEO now 75 cents in the money and still bouncing around there. Tesla, the missed opportunity for sure. Oh, well, we got it. Tesla's actually my #1 stock on the day. Hard to say it's a missed opportunity when that's the case. But either way, we still feel like we could have done better there. But just looking at the chart, that's an obvious statement. So Tesla missed opportunity, but still trying to go. So we'll wait to see where that one goes. Let's check out DD. We traded DD last week, and it just didn't work out for me and Arun really ever. Some days it looked like it wanted to go up, and it went down, and vice versa. So right now today, if you thought DD was going to go down, you would be wrong because you're up 5% almost in a straight line here. Some of these Chinese names, we'll definitely have to look at Alibaba. I don't want anything to do with DD actually, so we're gonna pass on that one. Alibaba off the bottom of 155. What a great trade that was. Excuse me, as you can see the straight line up here for Alibaba as well, looking at 175.60 now to take that out. That may be a good one, but a long back into 175 might even look better on Alibaba.
And now looking at Moderna, now I said if it fails at 425 and gets back below or towards that 416, look for that to hopefully be some support. It was not. Now you're back below it. So I think the plan of action for me is to look for the short again in mRNA because it's trying to set up for that short. I think any chance we get in this consolidation here, maybe giving it back to like a 417 or 420. Of course, as I say, like give me a break. Like as I say this, it's like now just dropping like $2 or so. Like I wanted it in this consolidation, kind of waiting too long maybe for that move. Moderna giving almost everything back, and the second I saw that look on the Pfizer chart, like I probably should have just been saying, forget about it. Let's just take it on mRNA wherever it happened to lie, because that one's starting to come back in here, and they were the ones that had the negative news per se when it came to the delay on the booster shots for them. So mRNA below 416, 417, that's where I like it short. I'm not chasing it to 411. If we can come back into that 414 to 415 range, then I'll have to be a bit patient with that move. I think there's a chance we can still get it, but holiday shortened weeks, when volumes are lower, you really don't want to be chasing moves. You want to get decent prices. I was fortunate enough to at least still have a price in Sava that I like. That could have been an absolute mistake, chasing a little bit too far, but we'll wait around for mRNA. Have not taken any Sava out. I will go to that IRNT just to show you guys. Probably get up maybe too early on. I know it's a New York stock. I always do this every single time. Might have got out a little bit early, but there was a buyer at that 25, but it could not get past the previous low, the pre-market low at 27. Probably should have tried to roll back into a short here at 26. This stock is still only going down. Still my best stock of the day, but kind of like Tesla for Sean, might have got out of this one a little bit too early.
Yeah, which stock? Oh,
The
IRNT. Yeah, I mean, on some of those movers though can't be blamed for that. Like those ones are hard in the pre-market, that's for sure. Especially when there's not too much data behind it.
Or volume.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, a brand new stock there coming out. It's what up to Russia, Valeria? Yeah. Okay. So SPCE. Someone saying on the chart that I missed it on the chat. I want to take that bottom. Oh my God. I wrote down, watch the bottom of 2380. I mean, it doesn't have to be a genius play there, but I mean, we went right down to 2380 right there. That's exactly what's on the sticky note. Thank you for watching, and thank you for sending out this message to whoever that was there on the chat. What's up, Andra? There it is, Andra. That's a nice name. Andra. I don't know if that is your name, but I like that name. What's up, Andra? Yeah, we did miss space there. It looks like a cute picture with a baby there. So what's up, Andra? Hope you and the family as well. Okay, so that's that play. But right now we will wait to see what's going to happen here for space as it's getting to the upside now. Did we miss it? Yes, we did. That doesn't mean it's over with though. $29 coming into play here, but $24.50 back to space. 24 and change. I guess now we got to look long on this one, as the short seems to be the wrong play there, guys.
Oh, I'm kicking myself for Virgin Galactic because that was one of the stocks that I don't want to say it was the first thing I looked at when I came back, but I was sort of this entire time waiting for it to make a bit of a lower bottom, which it just never seems to do, to catch that potential breakout, which I think could be coming. It needs a catalyst, obviously, but look at that 2380. It just sort of sticks out. And all I wrote down in my notes was higher low breakout, question mark, and this, of course, is the higher low that it puts in, and there's your breakout at 2450. This is not gone, by the way. Like, it's, if you look at these lows from last week, like around this 2465, right into like this 2485, a failure to get through there, and I don't see why you wouldn't at least be retesting that 24 bottom. So keep that in mind. We could still have a chance at it. I did, and this is why I said, like two seconds ago, I was like, don't chase Moderna, Neil. Don't chase Moderna. Down at 412, and there we go. We actually get the fill at 414, so I got a better price off of this 416, 417 resistance. Now, if I want to give it like $2 to $3 of room, do I want to take some out in front here for $2 or $3? Yeah, for sure I do. And let's see if we can't get into that low of the day. So patience works. You got to have a plan, but you should also have patience, guys. I will not look a gift horse in the mouth. If I get that $2, I'm definitely going to do it. Things seem to be slowing down, although the market's starting to roll a bit. I mean, I know it's only like 15 points to the downside here, but it is starting to roll down, and I did get that short. Got to watch out for Sava. It's trying to go again, still finding some support on Sava at a higher low, again, a higher low on Cassava Sciences. So I don't want this thing to start blowing up, but it managed to hold this level here around 48. It tried to pop 50, failed at 50. If it starts holding 48.50, it might make another push to the upside. Still don't think it's wrong till 51, 51.5. But Cassava Science is looking a little bit stronger than I would have anticipated when I sat down today.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, it keeps going back into the fourth in the money for me as well here as we're short 49s. I know Neil just talked about it, but I mean, literally the same trade. So we can wait on that one. Pfizer, we've just emptied it out. We have one piece left. We just got some out here at 47.12, sorry. So that's a nice win. Now 18 cents in the money on that one. So we'll wait to see where it goes, but I don't mind it here. That is Pfizer. We're just holding small. So, I mean, if it goes back up, great. We still have to wait to see where it wants to go from here. But looks like Pfizer, we still have that bottom 46.75 looking good from what I could see anyways. Tesla up to 7, wow, 7 and change. Clover 9.50, still not taking out that level. Let's go over to Palantir here on the New York. We were looking at 27. This is coming down in now. What a great week it was. Obviously, for those of you that were watching Palantir last week, seemed to be a pretty good week. We tested 27.50.
That's what the hat's about, obviously.
Yeah, oh yeah, you don't know about this, yeah. Pratt.
I meant to ask you about it. But
yeah, Trader Pratt came through. I don't know where he got it from, some website. When Memes and Movers. Look, we're having a meeting about Memes and Movers today. I have a sneaking suspicion it's back tomorrow. Shouldn't have said that because now we put some expectations on that. But I'd like to see it back, and that's
why
going
not,
to be.
man? Why not?
I'm going to push that. I'm going to push that narrative today in our meeting
There
as
she is.
Ms. V needs to come back, and then when Memes and Movers comes out, then we can spit out the cash because we all know that we love Trader Pratt. So we'll see if he can throw down some winners for you with Memes and Movers. I'm hoping
he's looking pretty serious. I get the headphones on. I know he's going. He's probably trading away here. There he is. He's focused, man. He's focused, man.
Is he? I don't know what he's doing there.
I don't know.
But he looks like he's focused. Yeah. So let's shout out to Trader Pratt and everybody. Thank you so much. People are putting it on their calendar for tomorrow. Memes and Movers.
fine.
Okay. I think it should be fine, but stay tuned on that one as we'll come back at 3 o'clock with some more info on Memes and Movers.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Just want to get back to a couple of things because I know that there's some of these movers that were going absolutely crazy and parabolic, and that FCUV, it does roll over and fail. Like I already have like 4 positions on, which thought would be maybe a slower day, and I also traded that RNXT a little bit in and out. But this FCUV does look like it's starting to fail. Still well above the breakout here at $14 that it had, but below that whole price at 16, which I think should turn into a bit of a resistance level. So I'll be watching that one again. Sava at that 50 is going to be a little bit concerning, and then JD, which is the other one that we got that long break. This holding rather nicely the top end of the range. Now I get some shares out, an 82 break, taking some out at 82.50, and then holding a higher low for now above 82. That looks pretty good. Obviously you'd like to see this sustain a little bit better. There's a lot of runway up here. So I'd love to see this actually cracking that 50 mark, and then we could hold on. I'm not buying dips yet in this because it does feel to me that if I was going to buy a dip, it should be closer to this 81.50 instead of the breakout price at 82. So I'm going to hold off on JD. If it does come back down, I'll wait till like 81.50 to buy any kind of a dip. The breakout trade still looking pretty good. Moderna maybe did look a gift horse enough. Now it's up at that 417 range I was talking about.
Yeah, we're just trying to, we're going here right now. Neo right here looking at that break for a top spot there. Yeah, Moderna 418, that's a good one. AMC, wow, we got out of AMC just ahead of that trade right there, thinking we may have broken down, but it looks like we may have given up a little too early there on AMC, up to 47.50. We did talk about it right here, guys, right on our list when we took AMC. And again, I like to tweet out some of my positions. I know a lot of you guys are watching that, but it was right here when we talked about buying AMC at 43.50. So that was going to be our resistance back to 45. And then what we did actually put on here, if you're following the sticky note today, happy Tuesday, by the way, we talked about this. Watch out for 48. I tweeted there. So you got to watch out to see what's happening there with 48 on AMC. So that might be a good spot to get some out, guys, if you're interested in that. That's AMC.
AMC on the move. I didn't see anything on GameStop. I know GameStop reports this week. We'll check back in on that when we come back from Brendan. It's time for Happening Now already.
Kill it.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock, still a little bit of a negative feel to a Tuesday morning here. It is the Dow that's leading the way as far as North America is concerned to the downside, 0.6 for the Dow, S&P 0.3. The NASDAQ trying to go positive here. The composite anyway is positive already. The 100 getting there as well. Russell, I was noticing the S&P was coming down, the Russell just ripping this morning. So small caps very, very strong. Here in Toronto, we are a little bit lower as well, 0.3 to the downside for the TSX. Couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market if you joined us. Match going to the S&P 500. Still fading off here. It did find a little bit of support around 157, but struggling. Volume dying off here pretty quick for Match. Spotify as well did have a nice push initially through that high from the pre-market, 262 up to 264, but all the way back and then some for Spotify, guys. Back over to you.
I did say we'd have a look at GameStop, which does report, I forget which day this week, apologies for that. I think it's a little late, definitely later on this week, but you do have a bit of a consolidation happening in the stock. I wish there was a bit more action going on. And we'll watch out if it ever makes a test or a run at this 215, 216 area. I think that sort of stands out as last week's lower high resistance on GameStop. Got a reload on Moderna there. As it just popped into that 417 range, turn right around, 420 going to be an actionable level. Of course, we already noted that one. I didn't check back in on NEO, apologies for that. We're sort of sitting around in this NEO trade, thinking that there's still more room to go. Now, it did make a secondary run here. So there was a chance to get out, probably in front of that 41.75, but I'm hanging on to this one, not for dear life, but I'm hanging on for this one, just looking for a bit of a deeper move here in NIO, guys. But the longer it tries to maybe retest that first out that we had at the 41 quarter, you could see a bit of a rollover happen in NIO. Don't want to give everything back, but has been a relatively strong mover so far today. And then I didn't get involved in that Tesla. Probably the big miss for me in terms of not getting a trade at all. And I'm going to go ahead and cancel my dip buy on Novavax. I tried 262s. It just turned at 263. Now headed to 270. So NVAX, obviously incredibly strong here, guys. I missed this one big time. Should have had that breakout. We talked about it in the pre-market. It was level that we had there. Just didn't put the stop order because I didn't want it pre-market. Then I didn't get to it fast enough after the open. That break was there for you at 260. It feels like it's gone. And there's no, it's clean sailing up to 260 or 300. That's why I was looking for something on the bid that I could catch on the pullback, just not aggressive enough. And when there's that much room, I should have maybe been willing to pay an extra dollar or so on a stock like this. I'm willing to give up an extra dollar or a few dollars on that Sava to get into shorts, just not willing to do it on NVAX for some reason, which I don't think makes any sense.
Yeah, shoot. We did take a Sava short again. We're getting really ready to blow this to the upside here. So I think we got to think about getting some out. I know Neil probably just covered that, but Sava right now making that move to the upside. And you got to figure out where you're wrong. And I know we've talked about that over and over again, but we've already broken above VWAP a long time ago. And now we're just at these spots that are possible kill spots here. So Sava, we tried it. And I don't want to be, there it goes. Okay, here now hopefully coming back to the downside. We take a piece off there, but still more room to come here, hopefully downside there as we put some more bids in the 70s with Sava Sciences, because Sava Sciences here bouncing off. And we are looking at that nice level there at 50.75 or so as possibly being a spot. But again, we're getting more and more out right now because we don't want to have any part of this right now as Sava looking to make moves. We could be wrong. I mean, so far we've been wrong on this, but the damage has been very, very minimal. So let's see where we can go from here. We are bidding lower. It just needs a drop, and we'll make that cash. Even to drop $1, and we'll be positive on this. So let's see if it comes to the downside right now. Cassava Sciences. Hopefully this drops like a rock. And I see you on there on the chat. Let's talk about that. Okay, so AMC as well. Good trade. One of the top stocks for me today. Though unfortunately, diamond hands do not have. But this is okay. I mean, we'll take. Look, the $1.60 there off that long, a couple longs there. We talked about a 46 break. We tweeted it out. It's all over the place. So that's going to be a good one there as well. So yeah, congratulations to anybody that's long AMC. Space hasn't done much. I mean, makes that big move off the open. It goes right into support right there. Like, no surprise. That doesn't surprise Neil or I or you guys out there as well. A drop right into that spot, and now you're starting to get that rip up, and now it's in no man's land. So I think Space, we need to leave it until it decides what it wants to do. But right now, that is Virgin Galactic and kind of just chilling out there. And then Neo, man, we got that drop from 41.80. That should have been taken. So that's NIO right there. Well, if it can come back, we should probably get out of that.
Yeah, just having a quick look at I know everyone's talking about Clover. It's only up like 10%, but that's a significant, I guess, amount of volume it's been churning through on the way to the upside here. It's pretty clean. I know Reddit's talking about it apparently a little bit here. It's not a gigantic move just yet, but it is starting to churn. And you look at the daily chart. I mean, I'm looking at the daily chart anyways. And we talked about $9.50 and $10. You're starting to actually get to that price. So, I mean, if there's a pullback off of 10 even, that could be a big level. I'm just watching that level 2. I got a 420 stop in Moderna, and I'm holding out on Sava. Like, remember I said 51, 51.50? Those are just holds for me. Like, it's just, those ones have to move. Like if you got to be willing to risk, I think like $3, $4, $5 in these stocks sometimes, and that's just what I've decided to do in both those two shorts. I didn't get more shares of JD. We'll try to get into that one if we can catch more. I thought 81.50. That was obviously wrong. It's holding at 82. Brendo.
Another one, guys, to have a look at here. XPeng, XPEV just popped up at day highs. We're back above 41.5, which is a bit of a level on the daily chart. But yeah, it's actually XPEV that's the strongest of the Chinese EV makers today.
Damn, yeah, it is. It actually is.
Yeah, you're trying to trash talk it there, but yeah, Xpeng's been doing pretty good lately. We did get a bid there, which was a nice one, man, because it cashed us out real nice there. We got a 49.50 bid there on Cassava. It was actually 49.52. Let me check the exact fill here because that's what 49.52. So we did get that fill there on Sava. So hopefully we can come back in. We do have some lower bids, so hopefully down in here we'll catch a bid and get out a little bit more of that. And actually, to be exact, I actually have I'm lying actually. I have 47.47, which was all the way down here. But I should put another bid, low 49s, just in case we do get a sweep again of Cassava Sciences down to the downside. Pfizer, we did get out, and we were pretty light now. In there and out, averaged in 3 outs right here. We just have one more spot on right now for Pfizer, and if we can get this out at 47, that's probably not a bad spot there for PFE. So right now, really the only stock that I'm worried about is this Cassava Sciences there, and then we can check back on Palantir. What's that doing around 26? Ooh, nice little drop there. Yeah, look at the futures. The futures starting to come down as well. So Palantir coming down to some levels that we like here, 26 and change. So let's let Palantir fall down, and then we'll re-engage this around 26. I did have a 7-minute chart up that I was looking at for key levels, so I think we'll have to call up at least a 7-minute chart to go back here and see what Palantir's looking at.
When in doubt, zoom out, right? Apologies, because I know I said I would do this, and I wasn't doing it enough here today. I said I would do this last week or 2 weeks ago when I was on with Arun. If the play is off a higher time frame chart, I know I show executions on the 1 minute and sometimes a 3 minute in the afternoon, but go to the 15 and sort of show you what the thought process is. Because when you're holding out longer on like Moderna or some of these Sava plays, it doesn't look very clean, and that's why you go back into the higher time frame. Now you're going to see I have bids in front of this level here, and I'm going all the way back a couple weeks ago in that 11 and 12 range, 11 to 12 range, right in front of this little cluster, and then hold the rest, I think, down to like a 400 to 405. And then once it retests at 420 on the way back up, I got myself a 415 price. I'm definitely willing to hold it up until that 420, but I got to be willing to give up that $5. And Sava's very similar here, where you look at, obviously, look, the stock was $150 not even that long ago. It's not going to do that today. I think we can all sort of agree on that. Well, I hope we can agree on that. But certainly until it breaks above this 51, and I'd even give it, like I said, to that 51.50, that sort of support level, or gets that bottom that got broken down here on Friday, until it breaks that, I don't know that I can say that the short is wrong on this stock just yet. So, until it breaks that, we got to give up the ghost and sort of hang on to this one. I got 49, which is the price I originally wanted there. So we're going to give that one to a 250 a loss. We'll give Moderna a $5 amount of room here. And then JD was the one I said I wanted to get into for some more shares on the dip buy. It never did happen. So we only ended up with, I got the 42 break. This wick down here, whatever. Sometimes you see these moves to the downside. You're not really getting a buy in front of 81.50. You might show like it was giving it to you. You weren't getting that, I don't think, unless you just blindly were sitting here at 81 like 70 or something like that on the bid, guys. But I would like to catch a bid on JD if I can catch 81.50s. Does feel like it's slowing down. The market pulling back, of course. That's not helping things at all with JD.com.
It is not helping things, but we're going to wait to see what happens right now on some of the upside on some of these plays. So JD, okay, good call there. We are going to watch out now with Cassava Sciences. Oh man, it's my bad. I thought we were going to get the fill there on Cassava, but it doesn't look like we did. So Cassava Sciences right now looking like a decent trade, but it needs to still come back in a little bit here. So we're going to wait to see if that comes out, but 99.50 here. We're going to put some orders out and make sure we get filled. Sava, yeah, up to that 51, but good thing we did take a couple bids out there as we go. So we're watching Cassava Sciences. Hopefully soon we'll be able to make some money on this one, and I don't know where it's going to go. So we do have Cassava Sciences in a little bit of trouble here with us right now, up to 50.37. Pfizer coming back in, but NEO made a nice move back up as the future's trying to resist a little bit here. So NIO on the way back to the upside right here. So let's just see where we go on this one. I do still like NEO, but again, made that bottom 41.31, and we can see where we go from here. Spotify up to 260 right now. That one's starting to make a run again off of this 257, 258 bottoms. So if we can get a bid down there, that might be good. And then I don't think much is happening with respect to some of the coins right now. So Coinbase, we're still waiting for a 270 dip right now on Coinbase. That's where we had our bids. We got that early down to 272, then it ripped up to 279. But right now Coinbase just kind of hovering around as I see BTC not doing a hell of a lot. We'll review some of the crypto when we get back from Brendan.
Another one to look at, guys, just popping up here at day highs. INO in the vaccine space, obviously, Inovio back to day highs here. They announced a few moments ago, actually, they're going to present some data at an upcoming investor conference in September. So that kind of lifted things back to positive territory for INO.
All right.
I just want to come back to Virgin Galactic for a quick second, because it's now really starting to make a run at this 25 level. Obviously, kind of had to see if it would actually get up to here, because you had previous support in that price range. The breakout's still obviously on here in Virgin Galactic. I thought maybe there'd be a dip that would retest a little bit closer to 24, obviously, so I'm not really long here. But this is starting to get parabolic. Big volume spike into that 25 even. I don't see a level at 25 that's sort of worth hanging our hat on here. But I mean, certainly it just spiked hard into 25 even. If it breaks 25, that does set up for breakout. But I hate taking breakouts off parabolic moves. I'd much rather see a consolidation and then an afternoon break or something a little bit later at 25. But certainly Virgin Galactic looks pretty bullish on the day today. If it pulls back and can hold this level here, like I guess the opening range top, that's like a 24.65. That could be a place for a dip buy, although I would much prefer, like I said, something closer to that 24. I just kind of feel like this one has gotten away from us a little bit here on Virgin Galactic, and we might have missed an opportunity. Might get it right here. I actually just talked about 24.65 on a pullback from 25. Might have a chance to get it. Spoke too soon.
Yeah, you never know. We'll just keep watching these trades. I'm looking for some more, but I did want to talk about Clover quickly, because there's that breakout, man. And we talked about this happening at 950. And come on, charts. And unfortunately, we miss it. But Clover right off the top there, really nice movement on Clover today. Wow. Talk about taking out that 950. It does it. It comes right back to 940 and then just starts to rip one more time to the upside. So CLOV now, nothing but love for you on the upside. And again, if we look at a 20-minute chart, here for Clover. I mean, I'm glad that you guys are on that. We talked about this in the pre-market. It's just unfortunately we haven't done anything about it. The 20-minute chart, Clover's well off, man. I talked about this last week, why we liked Clover. I like the space. I pretty much like everything that they're in right now with healthcare as the population gets older and older and we come through. Hopefully, some of the pandemic talk can finally subside. I don't know when that's going to happen. Then we can get back to like real healthcare talk. But Clover down here, man, 840. What a great base this was all last week and for a very long time. This 840, 830, and now you're being rewarded up to $10 on Clover. We were here before on CLOV and where we failed. So I'm actually long Clover right here, which is nice, or in and around here anyways. There's that $10 break that we were looking for. So a nice little 20% or so move off more than that, off the bottom of Clover. So watch out. I mean, this might be a good spot. We've already been to 10 before, but a 10 break gets you going on Clover as well. So I don't mind this, man. We'll try it. It's already up to 10.05. We take out 10.05, we'll go long, guys. Clover, long through 10.05.
And just watching some of the earlier ones here is sort of settling in. I mean, Moderna could break that 420, and then we take the hit. Sava's still at that 50 level, so back and forth. We got short 49, it's back and forth at 50. But this IRNT put in another attempted bottom, I want to say, here at 23. And again, maybe testing at another high here. Remember, this is a very thinly traded name, and one of the reasons why these, Russian mining companies are running is because of how thinly traded they are. And then it gives them some push to the upside, even if there is no massive short interest, which I don't believe there is in this particular name, or that MNT or whatever the other one was, MTL, I should say, which I wasn't even looking at today because IRNT was more interesting. But if it gets back, sort of holds a higher low, just watch out for this like 26.75, 27 area, call it 27 even. Watch out for this breaking back to the upside, because this is like a 29.50 here where it tried to get up to right at the open and then failed. I kind of think there's like a nice $2, maybe even $3 scalp trade in there. If it breaks 27, it could always halt because 10% moves too fast and you get a bit of a halt trade on IRNT. So if it's a little more structured, that breakout at 27 could lead you into a halt in front of that 30 level, which looks pretty appealing to me. It just has to hold this current low. If it doesn't make a bottom that holds up at least through like 11 o'clock here, then it's a no-go for me on the long side, but it is setting up for a potential long, despite the fact that I wanted no part of any long with this thing here today. IRNT still has a chance to maybe go. Moderna holding out for now. JD, I still haven't gotten that dip buy. I'm actually down here in front of the 81.50 level. I might step that up to like 81.75 with an 81.50 stop and see if we can't get back into this one. I don't know why I'm not buying VWAP. I could talk myself into that as well.
All right. I don't mind getting talked into a few things here. Clover, that might have been a short there on Clover, but we still are going to wait. Exactly, at 10 exactly, to see where we go from now, because it is coming back in a little bit here. That's Clover. And, 10.05, we talked about how it did have that high side before of 10.05 or 10.20, I believe it was, the exact high there. But I still want to take it long. Any kind of pullback here on Clover. Let's zoom in a little bit. We're already up 12%. This is a big move off that 830. So I'm almost thinking that there may be some profit taking back to the downside here on Clover. So just be very, very careful. I think back into 950 seems to be a reasonable spot. This may be actually a decent short now on Clover as it's already tested that 10. I think this is not a horrible spot to do it. I think you have about the right risk reward here. Let's go short CLOV right now, I think, and then see if we can catch a nice, they're starting to go already. We'll see if we can short 86s. There we go. Now we're short 86, and then we'll just see what happens here back to the high side. I don't want to be short everything. We will average in, and then if it takes out 10.05, then we will reverse long. So a small little 20 cent or so risk here for what I believe is going to be much more profit than that to the downside. So we'll see if we can get about to 950. This is pairing out nice. So we'll see here, 986 short. If we can get a bid into this area, 960, that's worth it. We'll take 25 cents if we can get it.
Yeah, I like that look, and I think it's a good look on Clover. And one that I definitely missed out was the CEI. A lot of things popping off here, and might have missed out on the penny stock, trading some of the higher flying and more expensive names here. It does get back below that dollar range and consolidates lower, and that probably would have been a pretty safe short in 96, 97 range. Feels like it continues to fall off here, but it hasn't broken pre-market lows or anything like that. So there's probably still an actionable level that we can work off of in front of $1. I don't love necessarily taking a 90 break on a penny stock. I'd rather fade into trades as opposed to, sort of just take a swing stick at 90. Like imagine you had a stock that was a $90 stock that had gone up to like a 104, 105, and then back into 94. Would you want to be shorting a $90 break on a $15? No, so I probably don't want to be shorting a 90-cent break, but I will look at something in this range here if I can catch like 95s, 96s on further consolidation. Brendan's got a small cap name here on the board for small cap recap that I haven't even looked at all, and looks like it might have a juicy opportunity. Brendo.
Hey guys, yeah, nice to have a lot to choose from in small cap world. Once again, this morning there was quite a few to have a look at. This ADAP we were talking about just before the open, I mentioned this $6 even level, if you go out to the daily chart, was a pretty clear area of resistance for ADAP. I did not like how it was trading once it got down here to 560. We got into this gap area and there was a lot of bids that showed up and they started buying it up again, so I just got out of the way. I will take my trade and move on from ADAP, still looking pretty strong, trying to hold that gap. This IronNet, there's also MTL, I noticed as well, another one that's a Russian steel company moving around like crazy. 30 was support over here, it broke, it's at 22. Pretty self-explanatory for IRNT, just grinding its way back to the downside. And then this LEX was another one. LEXX was higher in the pre-market on some positive news. Pretty clear 720 level. If you go out to the daily chart, that finally breaks, gets a nice retest. We're all the way back to day lows for LEX, guys. Back over to you.
All right. So what is, thanks Brendan for some of those recaps there. I know we've been trading a little bit of those. Now we have Clover starting to make a move to the downside now. 10 cents in the money. That's fine. To me, this is not a gift horse yet. We're going to wait to see. I mean, it's a nice move. I mean, we could take 15 cents in a matter of 2 minutes is good, but we still do. I'm still thinking about 65, 66, not a bad out just to start this out. And then if we can get even lower than that, then that would be fantastic right now for Clover. So yeah, into the 60s would be nice. Maybe 66, something like that, taking a piece out, and we'll just put a bid there, see if we can get it down to this trade. So, you know, made sense to me, you know, all whatever. If a trade demonstrates that the risk profile is there up to 10.05, then I mean that's 15 cents worth of risk. That's well worth it the way this is set up. So I'm happy so far, but again, you know, things still need to happen. This is not a slam dunk or anything by the stretch of the imagination. So let's hopefully this gets into the 60s and worth the shot here. Although this looks pretty nice, man. I'm even debating taking a piece off right now. You know, for 15 cents and then letting the rest worry about it later. But Clover right now resisting a little bit at 75, but I think we might have it. There's some strong bids now though, so I just don't want to get off this name, but I do like it. Clover to the downside, resisting off 75. Damn it.
I'll go. It hasn't happened on Sava yet, but 420 just broke on Moderna, so I just got wicked out of that one. Maybe it holds that level. It hasn't really done it yet. If it tests 25, that's the other level we look to the upside. This Hippo, and thank you guys for bringing this one up because Valeria did give this name. Wasn't even watching it. The insurance name. That was a pretty big volume spike through the high of the day just now. When it got taken to about 684, we did have a quick look at this. Not really a lot to see on the daily chart, but it has gone parabolic. It made some moves in last week's action as well. But this 7 level looking like it's a bit of resistance. So those of you guys that are looking at, like, a lot of people are talking about like Thinkorswim being down. So hopefully you guys stay safe if you have executions there. If you don't have executions, hang tight. I know it's not a very good feeling there, guys, but there's always not much you can do about it in that particular moment. There's a weird bid going on in this HIPO. This is what I mean. Look at level 2. Like, this is nonsense. 59,000 shares on every single gateway at 662. That's not a halt. That's just someone stacking the bid up near the high. A lot of times I want to put that.
You're not allowed to do that, I thought.
No, you're not supposed to be able to do that. I usually call Fugazi on that one, and if it does turn out to be that, they're still on the bid here and holding. So I mean, it's not as if they're not pulling this bid, whoever it is. It looks like it's pretty legitimate, at least in terms of taking the risk of that fill. But I'm going to probably try to short this one if it goes back to that 7 or brace this 662 because that just seems a little odd to me. And it already put a parabolic move into that level at 7 anyways. So let's have a quick look at that HIPO. They're holding this bid. This looks pretty real.
Okay, good.
Nope,
okay.
I mean, it's like the second I say.
I know that's the
Oh, my
problem, right?
goodness.
Okay, so Clover, whatever, man. We'll take a little bit of a chicken dinner winner here. I hope you guys have had a good Labor Day. We didn't. Did we have chicken? I can't remember. Oh, yesterday we ordered from Union Chicken, which is a. Yeah, we were barbecuing all weekend, and then we were like, okay, you know what? Let's whatever. Marissa made some mac and cheese. The kids were happy. We didn't want to have that. We ordered from Union Chicken over there at Sherway Gardens. And man, that OG chicken sandwich that they have, there's like a maple sauce. It has banana peppers as well. Sick, it is legit. We got some cornbread. Shout out to the cornbread family.
We had this conversation.
We've had this conversation. So me and Neil love the cornbread. And then some nice spicy baked beans as well. So that was real tasty. Shout out to Union Chicken. If you'd like to sponsorship, tweet at me and you can send over some gift cards.
We had jerk chicken for our fantasy draft. It was pretty good.
Not spicy enough.
But we didn't actually get cornbread with that. And then remember we were talking about last time our high school friends got together, we ordered barbecue.
These jokers do
and they didn't. We ordered barbecue from a place that didn't have cornbread, and I'm like, I don't even understand.
But that was good. But that was
it was good barbecue.
Yeah.
But how does any self-respecting barbecue joint not have cornbread, right? Like
that was very strange.
That's what I didn't really understand.
Let's not shout them out because they are very self-respecting. And we have some friends that used to work there. But yeah, I mean, look, if you're gonna have Southern food, I mean barbecue especially, you need to have some cornbread. So I think everybody there understands that one.
You know it's true.
Yeah, everybody does know that's true. Okay, jerk is eaten with rice and beans. Yeah, no,
rice and peas. Well,
it's called.
I know
rice
it's beans,
peas.
but like West Indians call rice and peas.
They call it that, but it's beans, right?
I know.
But yeah, there was rice and peas and beans in that as well.
It wasn't very spicy.
That was not very spicy at all, no. But anyways, let's move on as we are trading here, apparently. Okay, so Clover, we got out of that one. Neo, still 52 cents back into the money now. So this one did make a, whoopsies, there's the 1 minute chart on Neo. It does make a dip buy back into 41.30-ish in change. So there's some possibilities there to get long on Neo. We're still holding our very first long from the beginning of the day because those of you that watched us last week, man, you know how Neo goes. And I have a love-hate relationship with that thing. So NIO. We had all winners last week, but they just turned out to be way bigger than they were initially. So we're going to hold on to NIO and see if we can make that one come through. And then the other stock that we're looking at still is Sava, and we've gotten some bids down at this level before. So hopefully Sava now can fall back in. No more bids until 48. So hopefully Sava falls back in there and we can make dreams happen with that one.
And that IRNT just popped into like that 27, spikes up, and immediately starts failing into the downside here. So, and again, like when I see that move, like I'm thinking could halt, too fast into the move, so cancel the bid. I'm not into it. It just failed off of 28. I thought that would be closer to 29 or 30. So you're not going to have an actionable trade for me there, unfortunately. What we did make the trade on was, and again, as we got into that little discussion there, that Hippo. That bid broke at that 60s joker, and I wasn't able to short it until 51s. Immediately was able to get some out there for the quick scalp. When a level like that breaks and all those shares, I just want to take advantage of that immediate momentum. I do hang on to some of these just to see if it goes any further. It put in a higher low here, so a lower high here at about 660. Not a huge level, but that's the exact same price where they were on the bid. Where it got back up to here. So if it goes back into 660, can't really break more than a penny or two above that, I'd probably get back into some more shares to the short side. Very strong stock, but that buyer was there. And if the break of that buyer ends up being the exact lower high, then I kind of want to be short in front of it. JD has now pulled all the way back in, so we did finally get that reload on JD.com. If it breaks 81.50, I'm out and looking back into 81. Looks like the 82 break really just gave you, that immediate push into 82.50 and has come all the way back in. I don't want to dig too deep of a grave in there. And then Sava, I guess we're just hanging on to this one all day long because, unlike Moderna, which decided to actually resolve itself before lunchtime, Cassava Sciences is just hanging out in the bottom end of the range here. So either we test the low, start taking some out in front of 47. Try to capture like $1.50 on the first third of that win. Some out in front of that 45 level as well, and then hold on for dear life. I don't think it's any chance that Cassava Science actually holds, both current low and that 51. It's too volatile a stock with another push to the downside to just sort of hang out here all day long. I think it's got a bigger move in it, and I want to hold on for that bigger move.
Yeah. On that note, I'm going to get out a little bit. I think the bigger move's coming. I've averaged in more than Neil there, so I have shares I need to get out of. So I still believe. I told you my next bid was at 48, so I do believe it. But I see this bottom, and that is just with VWAP here. So I feel like I can't not get some out there, some double negatives. So we'll see if we get out some at 48.90 or so if it does dip down there. Again, Cassava Sciences, we did have that top. We're looking to see if that can hold. I believe that it does, and that's why we take these two averages right there. We pretty much have the high of the day, but we'll wait to see where Cassava goes. It all started with this trade initially. Whoopsies, add text. Oh, what am I doing? I'm on that one. With that initial bottom of 47, 48, we wanted to start to build. So right now, Cassava Sciences, we're negative because we cashed out some right there off that short, but now we're building into a position here. If this can come down just right to where we need it to be, then we will be positive on you, Cassava Sciences. So we're going to wait to see if that one can go. We did take out some of our DraftKings there. Doesn't seem like that's going to be a good decision to buy some more PaySafe. So DraftKings up that 2%. And again, a big move off the open. We talked about this name. I like the name, so let's not think that I'm not still in this. I am, but I wanted to raise some capital to get into PaySafe. So we'll see if that's going to be a right decision or not. But PaySafe, that doesn't look like it. That was up to 930 or so early on, and we're still, so now we're actually down. Oh, yeah, because we opened up higher. Okay, so we're down on the day now because of that run that happened near the end of the day on PaySafe. So we're still into that at $8 or so bucks. So now we'll wait to see where PaySafe goes. My average price is above 10, so we need that to get going. That's PSFE. And then here comes Sava, man. Hopefully this can still make dreams happen to the downside. Facebook is a name that we've liked for a very, very long time. It doesn't seem like it wants to do a hell of a lot, but right now 376 just bouncing some of this big cap tech. If the NASDAQ goes, watch out for 378 coming through on Facebook. Brendo.
10:30, guys, coming up in 15 minutes. Stick around because we have a very, very interesting guest and a very interesting topic to discuss. Emmanuel Gann from the World Trade Organization is going to come through and talk a little bit about how blockchain technology is going to and has already started to revolutionize the world of trade. So that's going to be a really interesting topic, so stick around for that. In the meantime, let's get a check on what is happening over in Europe. Miss V, what is going on over there?
Hey Brandon, European markets are negative today, while retailer Marks & Spencer trading in London is up more than 4% after UBS upgraded the stock and raised its price target. Back to you.
Yeah, good to get back into a little more normal trade action after the past couple of weeks, guys.
Absolutely. We're just looking at SoFi here, up 5%. I know there's some stocks that have probably moved more, but it just broke $16 for like the second time. Well, I mean, I guess like the second time here today. It's holding above that right now. Moved pretty well off of 14 in last week's action. There is some room here because I sort of look at this and forget about these wicks. I'm on the daily chart. I'm kind of looking at like 17 to 17.25 as the next level up, and there's definitely room to that for SoFi. So it's just broke the 50 period. It's kind of heading on an upward move. I don't necessarily love, I mean, obviously you look at the 16, it's not a clean move through 16 over and over again. You'd probably look for it to hold all throughout lunchtime and then make like an afternoon break, which would set up a little bit better. That HIPO, so look, this kind of changed the tune here. The second I saw that big buyer, where it's really just turned into like a scalp trade. So as much as like this has been happening, a little power up because I'm doing the DAPS because you guys brought this one to the attention. And that buyer at 662, shorted it when it broke. I didn't get it till 51s. I just got some shares back into this in the mid 50s, so average price now 53s. But I'm just taking it out here, like in front of this. Like every time it breaks 650, I'm just on the bid in front of 640 here, trying to piece out of it because my stop is tight at that 662 where that buyer was before, just in case it breaks back up. I do want to hold on to some in case it comes into VWAP, but most of that trade had a heck of a lot more to do with just that action that was that ridiculous 59,000 share buyer on every single gateway for whatever ungodly reason, than it did to do with the lower high. Like if I was shorting this off 7, yeah, I'd be holding out for a bigger move there, but that's not the trade I'm making. This is literally off of that one level, looking at the sort of liquidity in this 10 to 15 cent range, or even 20 cent range, and wanting to take advantage of it. So that's all I'm really doing with HIPO here. If it does break down, I'd probably cover it all in front of 630. I don't want to mess around with this thing too much.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing the name. I mean, that's what we're all about, is looking at this. I'm trying to look right now at Sava. Okay, good. We just got that fill there. Just right. I was wondering. I was like, am I going to get that? It just does fill right there. We get that VWAP fill right there. It does go a little bit more. It goes down to 48.80. So we'll ring the register a little bit and start spitting out cash now because 50.40. We're nicely $1.50 in the money now on Sava. So finally, that trade, we held out for it, and now it's starting to pay off. So Sava, good trade here for me, as it looks like it wants to get to the downside now, and hopefully that can create some chaos there for us. We did get out
of the mind.
Yeah, chaos in the mind. Yeah, hopefully. I don't. What is that Savage drug? I have to look that up. Maybe it has something to do with your mind. Okay, 975. So we did see that Clover started resisting there, and that's why we got out. So just to give you guys a little check there, that is Clover, and we are looking to get out of that one now through that spot. So watch out for Clover coming back in right now. We still have that $10 in mind. We may average into that one more time, but it has to be a little bit closer to 10. So, I mean, that would have been good, 992. Didn't even notice that. Let's take an average price on Clover and see where we go from here. I don't mind this trade at all.
If you have a name that's like a nerd reference, like comic books or like Star Trek or Star Wars, or in this particular case, Marvel, Ancient One, I don't know if that's actually the reference to the Ancient One. You're asking here, could the stock be short squeezed? Thank you for putting in the symbol there. Like, I know a lot happens in the chat. So like I know we can be talking about certain names, and I might have said something about CEI a couple of times, but if you say, can this stock do a short squeeze, we really
don't
need
know.
the symbol.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about. CEI, just on my quick check, because I try not to have these all memorized, but I looked at FinViz quickly, and it's like a 14% short interest. The thing about penny stocks with short squeezes is, like, Sundial was doing squeezes before, so like these stocks can do squeezes. They'll just look a little bit different because they're likely to have a lot more liquidity into it. It's already in the midst of one. If you look at the daily chart here, the stock is up 3x over the last, I guess, few weeks here, if you go all the way back into like early September and August. So this has certainly been on the run, but if I pull up the level 2, just to get an idea of what you're looking at when you trade something like this, for those of you guys that are only looking at a chart, on a stock doing 140 million shares on the day, it's a penny stock, like I would expect to see some bigger levels standing in here. Now you'll see, like if you saw like a 30,000 share D print go up, but there's not exactly a lot of people swinging a ton of shares, throwing them on the bid and the offer. So can it move? 100%. That's how a stock goes from like 30 cents to $1. Whereas if I went to Sundial, and again, it's probably not doing any volume, but we'll just for comparison's sake, SNDL. For comparison's sake, like a lot of times if you go to like a sundial, you'd expect to see maybe a little bit more, and again, maybe there's not a lot of volume on these names here because you'd expect to see more bids and offers, and it's not doing any volume at 11 million shares. Yeah, so that's pretty thin as well. But you're not seeing those stacked bids, stacked offers where people are market making. That's what I wanted to get at here. So if you're looking for a potential squeeze, it kind of feels like it's already been doing it. But the lack of levels, like at $1, there was nothing on this thing at $1. I expected to see some 500,000 sellers or million share offers that I would jump in front of. There was none of that on this CEI. So could it squeeze? Absolutely it could. It's only a 14 or 50% short interest from what I can see, which is big, but not like over the top gigantic. The volume is tapering off here a little bit, so I kind of feel like the shorts are like, yeah, whatever. Anyone that's been squeezed has probably already gotten punked in the last 60 or 70 cents of the move, and it's found resistance at $1. But look to that level too. Understand what liquidity looks like on a stock like this. Sometimes there's plenty of it. I didn't see a bunch at $1, but it's resisting there anyways.
Yeah, for sure. Look, we're just waiting for some of these plays to come through now. Clover's coming back down to the downside, so this is near its low since we've had this position. We're still waiting for it to break that 960. We still have some targets in mind that we have discussed, so watch out for that one. Hopefully coming through for us. That's going to be Clover, so we're going to watch out for that on the downside. DraftKings 62 and change. XL Fleet's up 1% today, as well as we look on Spotify coming back in. AMD making some moves as well.
Sweet.
Now, so AMD down to 109.
Sorry, just gonna like,
Yeah.
That dip buy, which it's slower animation. I feel like should have already done the crash and the explosion there.
Yeah, it's slow.
But
I don't know
JD,
what's going on.
I know it's weird.
It is
but
weird.
JD finally got that buy. It took a while off that 81.50. Look, I'm going to take some out in front of this like 82 and a quarter. If it resisted 82.5, like think about this. It's 82 break, resists 82.5, buy in front of 81.5, tries to get back above 82. I'm going to take some out, anticipating a lower high around that quarters. I'll definitely do it. I do want to hang on to this long though. The same way I did hang on to some shares in the 82 break. I want to hang on to this as long as we're above 81.50. I want to make sure I have some exposure to a top end break on JD. And the reason why, like I said on the daily chart, we went over this in the pre. There's just room. There's room to this 85, 86 level. That's plenty of room to the upside. I want to have some exposure. I know the market is flat and trading to the weak side here, but if you can hang on to a long which hasn't broken the low, then you do it. The same way I'm hanging on a short that hasn't broken the high in Sava. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. And that's the same reason why we're still in some of these NEO shares. There's just room for NEO to the 50 period up to like 40. This is 43, right? Like there's no resistance levels up here on that break. That's why we liked it. Now it's pulled back in here, but it's still, sort of squarely in front of that 41 quarter, let alone the 41 breakout price that we got. So no reason to get out of the trade just yet. I know we're getting into that lunchtime trade, but if it can sit in the money throughout lunchtime, you always get that chance at an afternoon break. And of course, maybe we're still in Sava and NEO and JD when we come back at 3 o'clock. Stranger things have happened, but we're trying to expose ourselves to some of these bigger and longer holds, especially when your rules or your levels haven't been violated and the market's more range bound. Let the trade work for you if it's in the money, right?
I would say so. But on that note, though, Neil, I am going to try. Yeah, it's fine. It's just the market's not doing a whole hell of a lot, right? So it's just back and forth. You are a little bit range bound. I agree. A lot of these names do have room to run, but I'm going to try to get out NEO right here, 41.40 or so. If we can take that out, then we'll be happy with that off of the pre-market. We let it go all the way. It just didn't happen for us. This will be one of those ones where we want to punch ourselves in the face probably afterwards because it will start to go for us here and we'll be out. But I still don't mind it. You know what? I don't know, maybe if the NASDAQ does go, we can get a better price here. So right now, NEO's starting to go to the upside. We'll watch this one. We will cash it out in here. But we do have Brendan at the big screen. That board looks a little bit ugly today, Brendo.
Hey guys, yeah, a little bit in the red. We'll have a look at the S&P 500 here. 0.38 overall to the downside. We'll figure out why. There are a few standing out to the upside, providing a little bit of offsetting strength here. Down in the gaming group here in the consumer services, Caesars, notably, there was some gaming news on the M&A front for Caesars today. Wynn as well, XPE and Penn, all nicely in positive territory. That's Tesla. I know it's a little tough to see, but Tesla having a really nice day as well, up 3.3% in that same group. Overall, the consumer discretionary group, though, about flat overall because of some negativity at the top end here. Over in the financial sector, you can see most of the banks having a nice day as well in positive territory. Not huge moves, but some of the diversified group helping to offset that back to the downside. So again, this group kind of flat on the day. Real estate stocks, consumer staples then on this side of the board, both in negative territory, adding to that negative pressure. When it comes to what is leading, however, it is the industrial sector, the entire thing in negative territory. You can see there's not one positive stock here to talk about. It's DE leading the way, 4.2% to the downside. Boeing there as well. We talked about the negative news around Boeing, 2.3% to the downside. SWK, Triple M there. Also in negative territory, healthcare stocks, both the pharmaceutical side and the equipment makers to the downside today. There are a few here trying to offset, but the good news, I guess, overall, some of the moves we're seeing, not huge. So the overall move in the market, again, not huge, 0.37. We are in negative territory, guys. Back over to you.
Thank you, Tyrone. There, like, what man, like
Tyrone.
I stunk. Tyrone Bigham's in there. He's like,
I
he's
was
in the
gonna
chat
say,
there.
is that like one of Brandon's like alter egos or something?
Call Tyrone. No. He ain't no alter. I thought it was alter ego.
Tyrone.
That's a joint. That is a joint.
That's a joint.
Anyways, man, you know that's a jam.
I mean, you know, that's the thing. Like,
Let's be real.
congratulations.
Yeah, buddy. Well,
I know we're talking blockchain coming up, and I think that should be. I mean, we have an incredible guest coming through with Brendan very soon. So get ready to rock and roll on that one.
It's a huge hitting guess. But there's one thing I promised to do last week that I just sent a tweet out and I said we always have to do this. Look at the higher time frame. So I'm going to start tweeting out like. If the trade is ever off the higher time frame, we also show that as well. But I'm asking myself why I didn't like a reversal at 420 on Moderna off of that level. That's going to be the hit for me, and I'm more angry with myself for not liking the long breakout because once that, like, it's like wick up and then short off that level. If I was looking at like that parabolic mover, like the short setup if it holds, but if it reverses strong, I mean that's $5 to the high of the day, let alone breaking out that top. Now I don't like chasing it at 425, so you're not going to see me taking the long breaking out here. But I'd ask myself, why did I not like that reversal? The short is certainly fine for a test at that failed break. Certainly, it's a heck of a lot better in this rollover in the pre-market. Didn't want it at 8:15 in the morning on Moderna, so there's no way that was going to happen. But got to ask why I didn't like that 420 level. I mean, Sava, it was about $1 in the money. Well, I mean, like 70 or 80 cents in the money, but I'm not taking that because I've been holding that one for the bigger time frame. Again, this is off the higher time frame. Look, this short is into that 51, if not into that 51.50 area, like right in here. So it's not wrong till it gets to that price. I'm not taking anything out till it gets to this bottom end cluster here at 47.5, and then that 45, 46 bottom as well. And then I'm still holding if it breaks that low, because if it takes out 45, it's just, if Kasava takes out this 45 level, you got to be thinking about like 38 to 42 for sure on Sava.
Good,
so I could be into this one all day long. I think it's definitely a better setup than the Moderna one, so I have to ask myself again, why I was more married to maybe Moderna than I was Sava, which I am married to. Not really married to the trade. I'm still in it because it hasn't violated my rules. But let's see what happens. Could be in Sava for the long haul here.
Violators. Okay, right here, I just want to talk about it. Oh, so first of all, it's kind of funny because right here, if you see on Instagram, sometimes we're actually, success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Thank you, for that, Zig Ziglar there. But I did want to bring up the fact that we do have that, man. Happy Tuesday to everybody, first of all. And then AMC, look, momentum long through 46, right? Wait for 48 tops. Okay, there's the top, 48, right? So let's wait to see now where that goes. So here's AMC. We take a pre-market break long, pre-market dip buy long. Then we take the 46 break, and look where we stop, 47.90. So there you go. So a little preparation sometimes goes a long way, up to 48. I wish I just would have followed that. We did give up about $1 there, getting out at 46.70. But without any further ado, let's sort over to the big desk with the big guy, Brendan, and our guest of the day.
All right, guys, we've been talking lately about multiple uses and multiple diversifications when it comes to blockchain technology. Today we asked the question, can blockchain technology help make the world of international trade more efficient? We're thrilled to have Emmanuel Gann, Senior Analyst in the Economic Research and Statistics Division of the World Trade Organization. I wanted to make sure I got that right, Emmanuel. Thank you so much, first off, for doing this. We're thrilled to have you. We're thrilled to get your insight on this topic, as it is a very popular one to date. Give us your thoughts here on how this is going to happen over time, and tell us a little bit about the work you're doing with respect to blockchain.
Well, thank you, Brendan. Thank you for inviting me. First, what I would like to clarify is that when I'm talking about trade, I'm talking about merchandise trade, so moving shipments of goods across borders. Now, we all know that participating in international trade can be very complex, especially for small businesses, because of lack of information, complex procedures that involve multiple actors that very often work in silo, and because trade processes remain labor and paper intensive. And unfortunately, the current pandemic has brought these challenges to a new level, threatening the lives of millions of companies worldwide. It has shown that agile supply chains are essential, that tracking is vital, and that digitalization is a matter of survival for many companies. And so this is precisely where blockchain comes in. And as you said, I've been doing a lot of work on blockchain and the potential of this technology for trade. Because of its unique characteristics, this technology can be truly transformative for international trade. Why? Because it allows for peer-to-peer interaction in quasi-real time in a highly secure environment. So what you see is what I see. Information is timestamped. Records are linked to one another, making it possible to track products along the entire supply chain. So it means greater transparency along the supply chain, greater visibility into supply chain operations. And because it avoids the famous double spending problem. So you cannot use an electronic trade document, for example, for double financing, as was recently done in Asia and causing massive fraud scandals. So this is not possible with blockchain. So very interesting potential to remove frictions from international trade. And I'm really talking here about the technology, not the not cryptocurrencies, which are an application of blockchain. No, the technology itself can be, I think, truly transformative, provided we get it right.
Now, when we talk about all of these hurdles, obviously, that are going to have to be overcome and surpassed, to see this pushed a little bit further and implemented further, tell us about the resources that will be required. Tell us about as you said, the technology that is going to have to be adapted to see this, push further.
Yes, well, the technology is there. What we now need is to create the right ecosystem to support the deployment of DLT solutions in trade. So what does it mean? It means three things, essentially. First, we need to address the digital island problem, the fact that different platforms do not talk to each other. And we need to address this through standardization, the development of global data models for trade documents to ensure seamless flows of data from one end of the supply chain to the other, so that even the smallest company can easily handle export and import procedures. And this is really critical when it comes to international trade, because a single international trade shipment will necessarily touch upon several ledgers: transportation, logistics, trade finance, customs, and so on. Second, we need to put in place an enabling legal and regulatory framework to allow, for example, for the recognition of e-signatures, e-documents, to allow these electronic trade documents to be transferred across jurisdictions. So we need governments to pass legislation. And three, we need global coordination. We need a global effort. Because a digitalized trade process is only as strong as its least digitized link. So we really need this global effort, and we need all sectors, we need the private sector and governments to work in sync on these issues to make it happen and to allow the technology to work to its full potential.
It's fascinating when you think about the possibilities here and where this could end up, leading us down the road. The obvious question, Emmanuel, then becomes, where are we now? What has happened to this point? Where do you see, things going in this direction? And maybe, more specifically, what kind of timeline should we expect for this type of work to continue?
Oh, the timeline is a very tricky question. But as you said, there has been a lot of activity over the past few years. Many projects related to trade were launched in areas like trade finance, transportation logistics, or the digitization of trade documents, key ones like the bill of lading, for example. And the good news is that many of these projects have actually passed the proof of concept stage and are now operational. But this also means that the points that I just made on standardization and legislation are more critical than ever for the technology to be used to its full potential when it comes to trade, and so for DLT applications in trade to really scale up. Now, if we manage to address these issues and remove frictions from international trade, we could indeed, through digitalization and DLT, make trade more efficient and more inclusive. And as our Director General, Dr. Ngozi, has said, trade is not an end in itself. It's about development. It's about people. Now, the timeline is a tricky question. What I hope is that in 5 years' time, I won't be talking about these issues anymore and that we'll actually be there.
We would be thrilled to get an update, I guess. Let's put it that way. Before that, at least, Emmanuel, as I said, we're absolutely thrilled to get your insight on this topic because it's a very fascinating one, and a lot of interest, obviously, surrounding this entire technology in the space of blockchain. Emmanuel Gann, senior analyst at the World Trade Organization. We appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
There we go, guys. Another facet, another possibility for blockchain technology.
Absolutely, and one of the reasons why, obviously a fantastic guest, heavy hitters, to say the least. One of the fantastic things there is, of course, separating blockchain from cryptocurrencies. And look, I have to make this segue because, we just broke down, we're 3,500 on Ethereum, just bouncing on 3,500 on Ether there, as Bitcoin broke 50,000 and got down to 49 before bouncing. So a bit of a move happening. I did check in because we're an equity trading show, and I know Sean went over some levels on Coinbase when I hadn't looked at them. And then Friday, I don't know if you guys traded this on Friday, but the dip buy was like 270, almost on a dime on Coinbase, and that just bounced off of that level. So it just kind of holds true where you get these outsized or rapid, like the bid starts falling apart. Just kind of look to the most obvious, like strong support level you can find in the moment for the day trade. That probably was 270 on Coinbase. I think I missed out on that opportunity just now. There was also a move while we're in the interview on oh my goodness, every time. IRNT is definitely the New York NASDAQ stock that I can't get right today. So it's a New York stock, and I keep typing in NASDAQ. I have not traded it since the original short. It did come back in just now with another, I guess, somewhat parabolic move into the upside. Another one here. It does not quite break that 30 level, so it does hold a 30 level there. It does have a chance for a breakout through this 30. I kind of feel like I should have taken the 27 break. I just didn't like the way it came in on that type of a move. It gave you another shot on consolidation, which again I did not take. I might have to stay away. I can't find myself into this long trade. I might be waiting for a short on this name, which could be another test and fail at 30, or potentially a 30 break that retests some of these highs from the pre-market, because that's a heck of a lot of resistance at 35 into 37.5. And remember, there's no actionable news here when it comes to IRNT that we're looking at. Just a bit of a lower float, squeeze type play there, but the volume is still through the roof, and it is now back into the upside. So I can promise you this much. When we come back at 3 o'clock, I don't see any way IRNT is not going to be in the trade. Maybe I'm still in Sava. It's in the money, 70 cents again, but again, I'm not taking it out till it goes at least twice that, and then maybe we'll hold on to it all morning long. Same thing with JD and NIO. Like, we came in liking some of the Chinese names to the long side. Hasn't been a ton of a reason to get out of those, and hasn't been a ton of reason to get away from fading Sava.
On that news, man, we'll just spit the money out because Neo, we did get out literally right here. So, you guys can get out if you wanted to with us. We got right out at that level of 38. So it's at 37 right now. So a nice win for us on NIO long 40.95s. Out the first spot at 15 or 16 off that rip off the open. And then just took it out again one more time. And then, yes, sir, man, we'll walk on a little bit of water here with Sava. Thank God this has come to the downside again. So nice little move to the downside. We talked about getting out at 48 right into here, so that's a perfect spot for us. Now if it can fall back down, then we'll be like, hallelujah, cashing in some money there for us on Sava with a nice win. It's going to show $2.30 in the money, but to be perfectly honest with you, not to be perfectly honest, the chart doesn't lie. We averaged in all the way up, so we're just back into the money now after getting some out, thinking we're in a little bit of trouble. Wish we would have had a little more conviction to that trade, but I think we did. Going short 50-50 there and then going short at 50-70 and holding it all the way back down now for that $2.30 is pretty good. We sort of bigged ourselves up a little bit for AMC there. We did talk about that 48 top and why. It's pretty obvious there, so hopefully that helped for you. Clover, yeah, nice little win there for Clover, man. All the way back down to 950, exactly where we called. Didn't do anything about it. Was too busy listening to the guest and watching what the hell was going on with crypto, but nice little move down on Clover. So hopefully those of you rang the register on that one, and we do a little bit Gronk spike, because you could see Gronk and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in now only 2 days.
I'm not a fan of Gronk.
No, I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan of Tampa Bay either. But you're going to see them in less than 2 days now, as it's Dallas versus Tampa Bay, and we have Dak, and I got Amari from you. So I got 2 players in that game.
I got nobody in that game, and I have to cheer for Gronk in Tampa because everyone knows as a Bills fan, I'm not going to ever like the Dallas Cowboys. And again, it has to do with the fact that they beat us twice in the Super Bowl. So no hate on Dallas. I love the city. I just can't cheer for the team when they beat up my Bills in the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Brendo?
Just quickly, guys, this Rocket Lab, a few people talking about RKL RKLB. This was yesterday. Rocket Lab announcing the expansion of their space system footprint. So more work going towards that for RKLB. So obviously, first day, investors have had a chance to react to that positive news. So 15 held there at that last push, or last pullback, I should say, as support. We're back to day highs for Rocket Lab.
So this is 100% not an excuse, but I'm going to give an excuse anyways, right? So the only reason why I didn't see support today was because I was off last week, and that's a horrible excuse, and it's not a good one. I should slap myself in the face if I had the key. I'll do this one because it's right on my fingertips. But I mean, like really, like I was trading this stock basically every single day when it was going parabolic. I even got like a nice little top there. I tell you, this was interesting because it was short into a long. Anyways, it was a good trade. But this stock just consolidates lower and lower and lower and then breaks this 21 bottom this morning. And then just gives you like this sort of clean look ever since it breaks that 21. It tries to get back into the upside, breaking back up after that consolidation. So it gives you the 930 rollover at an even dollar level. Okay, so that's a good setup that I usually love. It gives you a pre-market low break of a stock that was parabolic and now falling back in. That actually sets up without giving you any trouble. It then gives you a 21 break, which if you go to the 15-minute chart, that's a good short without any problem. Like it breaks this level and then just tries and fails for like 15 minutes to even try to get back into the upside. So that was a big missed opportunity. We'll have this one on the radar for the rest of the week. It doesn't look like it's, I don't know if it hit SSR. It might have gotten close to it there, but I don't think it actually cracked that 10%. We only have 2.5 minutes to go. Wow, Sean, this one actually flew by. Like it feels like part of it's because I was away, and then there's actually a bunch of movers in here today. I don't know if we have any earnings to get to, but there's definitely the national day. I kind of feel like I got this one out of the way last week. That's for darn sure. We going to Miss V yet for what the national day is?
I believe so. Yeah,
I believe we are. But I can tell you right now, it's a good one, and we have plenty up here in Canada.
Thank you, guys. And yes, Neil, you're right. Time flies today. And guys, thank you very much for spending this morning with us. I hope you're having a great day. I wish you like for us again and luck for you for the rest of the day. And please double check if you like this video. Your support means a lot to us. Well, we'll see you at 3:00 p.m. Eastern Time. And happy National Beer Lovers Day, everyone.
Oh, it's an actual Beer Lovers Day. Oh, Beer Lovers Day.
Can't go wrong.
All right, yeah, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, even now, that the fall's coming, there's still many beers to enjoy, although it is, for me, love it on a patio. I got
to shout out because I forget who it was, and I apologize, because someone was like, when you go up north, Neil, that lake you're going to, you're not going to be able to get your innocent gun. Make sure you stock up before, and I did. And I don't even know, it's a really, really small town. But anyways,
they didn't have innocent gun in the beer store.
I didn't even check. Someone told me not to wait, so I didn't. I got all my innocent gun in. Obviously, I drank it all, but I brought it with me, so that was definitely a good look there. So National Beer Lovers Day, we have a lot of good ones here in Canada. That's for darn sure, Sean.
Yeah, including, you know what, I got to give a shout out to Greg because Molson Canadian, he was like, yo, try that again, because sometimes people get hoity-toity like you do with your innocent gun,
okay,
but
fair.
I don't mind. Prefer whatever beer you prefer, just playing around. Yeah, I don't mind Molson Canadian. I'd throw over to Brendan. I think we know what his favorite beer is. Why don't you tell everybody, Brendo?
What could it be?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but no, I'm a Guinness guy. Through and through, always will be. You know what, though? I've been enjoying, is it Sleeman's Banquet? Or maybe Coors Banquet? Coors Banquet, that's it, yeah. I've been enjoying that lately as well, especially on a golf course, guys.
Especially on a golf course. You have to throw that in there, of course.
I want to thank you because it was
haven't been on a golf course enough this year.
That was who it was in the chat. That's why I can't remember the name. SWW17033 giving me advice on like what I should do on my vacation for the weekend, saving me a trip to a very.
I don't mind PBR as well. People talking about Pabst Blue Ribbon. I mean, if you want to go gangster, you could do that. And then there's that new one.
You know what real old school is, right?
Yeah, Old English.
That was back. It was back in like the day. I'm not gonna say when, but like let's just obviously say like back when you didn't have any money to your name. The oldie was the way to go. You just keep it real. Sava finally moving here, guys. I know we're wrapping up the show. It's 11 o'clock. Sava now down at 48. Going to be starting to take some out. Make sure you tune in. Of course, we're back at 3 o'clock for the fastest hour on YouTube for Power Hour. It should be a wild one.
We got in and out of Coinbase there, but we didn't mean to as the market.
270?
Yeah, it's continuing to tank. No, I mean I didn't even.
3,400 on Ether right
Yeah, I had a stop order in there on coin, which is why we got in. We quickly got in and out, so it's going to cost me a little bit of money, but not much there. I should have held on to that short. Yeah, coin's tanking right now.
Man.
Join us at 3 o'clock though for that, and we'll be back for you guys at 3 p.m. So thank you for joining, man. A lot of winners on today, and I hope you guys stack that cash as well.
And Ms. V in the green. We're gonna go down the line here, but the NASDAQ is still positive, by the way.
What up, Ms.
So
V?
she's holding up the market right now, as we always like to say.
Very much so.
For everyone, of course, for Ms. V, for Brandon Wiggins doing a fantastic job. For Arun, who stood up for 2 weeks, and I know you guys loved him. He was amazing. Of course,
Stand up.
you know he would. And for Sean Katina, I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. See you at the close.
Ciao.